Green light has gone on.
Let me know before I...
Ooh. The button
I
is
think we all know
flashing
what
between
that means,
amber
right?
and red. Does that mean it's not doing well? How about I send you guys the link to
Oh wow, we
the
can
channel?
watch ourselves in real time.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
be weird.
No, before I...
Oh, it says it's live.
And it's probably live.
Holy crap, we are actually live.
Hooray!
It's alive!
Where's the link?
Welcome back to Joril's Bizarre Adventure.
It's not.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sorry, that's the wrong
So
anime.
British.
As I am.
Okay. Oh, might want to think about levels as well.
I muted it. Hey, my dice are still on the screen.
I'm gonna send. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna send this around to people. Just like, hey, we're playing D&D. Come and watch us.
Okay, go
Sure.
right ahead.
Did you want me to post it in my
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Should I post something
Oh boy.
somewhere?
Oh my goodness, yeah, like on the
I
freaking
don't...
AFAC thing. That would be awesome. I mean, if that's okay.
Maybe on your personal blog.
Well, what about the
I don't want to
Discord?
be overwhelmed because this. I don't
What
want to be
about the
overwhelmed
Discord?
to tell people.
Just put on.
Has
AFAC Discord?
Yeah, why not?
the cameras
What?
gone all weird?
Which
Yes,
Discord?
because...
The
they're gonna be
AFAC one.
looking through
Okay,
different
Oh yeah, the
guess.
cameras have.
Okay. I mean, you do what you want. It's up to you, my dude.
It's because
Okay,
you want to make
I'm
where
noise,
do
just
I-
already
guess.
nervous, and if
So,
we
you want me
invite
to-
everyone,
Hang on a minute.
a lot of people might show up all at once.
I'm not
Isn't that
sure. I'm not sure what's
Guess-
happening on
I guess so.
the
I guess
Twitches.
you're right.
Oh, I need to keep it on this, don't I?
It's because
Has that fixed
you're
it?
in different.
Yeah. Sorry, I went on. I went
Keep it
on.
the call.
I went on different Discord things to like tell people that I was playing. Sorry, I was getting overexcited. Happens sometimes. That's what D&D does to me.
What? Wait, what happened? Okay. It says there's an error.
Hmm.
Error
On
field
yours,
found.
sure.
A variety of frames.
Mine's working.
Oh, okay. I refreshed it.
Yeah, try refreshing the page.
And turn on flow latency.
If it attempts, like, if it becomes, oh yeah, it is a bit screwed. Maybe for the time being, switch off webcams. Maybe that'll help.
I mean, we have our character portraits up, so that's good.
Everything looks okay from OBS's side. I've switched it back to. I don't know why the Twitch hasn't caught up. Oh, okay. It seems to have just done that literally now. Why don't we just start
You're
playing?
muted, by the way.
Why don't we just start playing?
I mean, it does take a lot of processing power, by the way.
Yes,
Alright.
it's a heavy CPU.
Yeah.
Super demanding.
Okay.
I've put a thing on the clubhouse, so there should be a few people from there, maybe.
If that's true, then I might quickly move things around a bit and ask us to switch webcams off, just because I don't think my computer's handling this particularly well.
Okay.
Yeah, everything looks pretty static. Let's remove that bad boy. Remove that bad boy.
Bad boy. What are you gonna do?
This is the sign that I need a new PC, guys. It's been that way for a while. But this is the nudge that I need. Cool. Right. Right then. If you are on Twitch watching, want to say hi, thank you. Ah, really good to see you guys. You are first,
Hello.
Nama. Well done. Glad to see you all. We are. Maybe this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy or something, but we are the Dysfunctionals. It's a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and we intended to have our webcams here as well, but my computer can't handle it, so I need to buy a new one. And when I do, you guys will be the first to know. We're continuing a campaign that we started pretty much exactly a year ago. You can barely hear anything. Okay. Thanks for letting us know.
1, 2.
Yeah, I'm going to turn myself up as well. Can you hear us? Can you hear me now, Nama?
Testing, testing.
Someone in the chat room says, have they played this before, or is this new? We have, in fact, played this before. It's a continuing campaign, and I guess we'll probably need to explain a few things.
Why don't you just put the link to the actual YouTube thing?
Yeah, actually, we
It's all on
could
YouTube.
just, like, link to all of the previous videos on YouTube.
And this will be on
Yeah.
YouTube too, so
Oh,
please-
Well,
If for whatever reason you want to watch this first, I'm not going to stop you.
Yep.
This will be all the more
You'll
entertaining.
probably be slightly
If you don't
confused,
know
but
what's
that's
been going
okay.
That's true.
You're
But
like a major spoiler.
Not really. Well,
Okay.
wait, yes. Actually, yes, I am a major spoiler.
So if you don't
I'm
want spoilers,
sorry.
go.
If you don't want spoilers, please leave now and forget everything you've seen.
And heard.
yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
How
We are
absurd.
about level
Come back
5
once you've
now.
caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're like me and don't care about spoilers, then whatever, by all means.
just so
Yes,
just so that our audience is clear, Grape Senpai, it's really good to have you here. We've been playing for about a year, and I've been uploading on YouTube once every 1 or 2 weeks for a while now, and we finally caught up, and we said when the recordings I'd made last year catches up with our game, we would start streaming on Twitch. So I'll do a brief kind of introduction because it's been a couple of weeks for the players as well, just to give a vague sense of where the campaign is, because it's been pretty fun so far.
1 week since you looked at me.
Too.
Cool.
I'll spin.
I'm the
Nice.
bard.
Does anybody have any like announcements they want to make before we like dive into the game tonight? Or
I
Yes.
think what
yes,
might
I
be
do.
good because we're.
Hi. Hello, James's mum. Hello.
Oh,
I think
Oh,
this
God.
is the first time with us streaming it. I
Yeah.
think maybe if you give just a very brief overview of like where we're at, and then maybe if we just real quickly just do a brief description of who we are, so they can recognize the voice to the
Yeah.
character.
like the players.
Yeah.
But like keeping it real brief, because you don't want to be going on for ages, but just as a one-off.
yeah, okay. So why don't we go around everybody and describe your character first, and then I'll give a brief summary of the campaign so far. Why don't we start like around the screen on the stream? Let's start with Brüz.
Oh, that would be me. Hello, my name is Brüz. I am a tiefling. You may recognize the horns. That's because I'm a tiefling. I am a cleric, and I look after the people. Mother taught me how to be a good healer, and I like to have fun.
Damn right you do. Okay. Next is Yell.
I am Yell, and I'm a bard, and I'm also a barbarian because I like to hit things really fucking hard.
All right.
And I'm blue.
Yep. If you were green, you would die.
That would die.
Dabbity dabba die. Kyro.
I mean, you already know that Kyro, yeah.
Introduce yourself as if they've never met you before.
I wouldn't.
Should I introduce myself?
Sure, fine.
Okay, I'm Joril, and this is my brother Kyro. We're Drow, in case you don't know what that is for some reason. We originally came from the Underdark, but due to circumstances, we had to run away. And I'm a bard, and my brother is a rogue.
Yeah.
Great. Eirys.
And I've also
Oh.
adopted a bunch of gnoll children.
Yes, that happened in our last session. I'll get to that in a second. Eirys.
My name is Eirys. I'm a half elf, a broody, shady rogue with a dark, mysterious past. That kind of character. I've got long, black hair, very pale skin. I don't like to talk to people much, or I just don't like people much. But I somehow seem to have been roped in with this very dysfunctional group, so I'm just staying here until I find some mysterious reason to not be here.
All right. And we did have a member of the party missing today. I've heard her come in. Ella?
Hello!
She got in from work,
Wait.
everybody. You're on time. Yay.
I am sweaty as heck.
I saw that plate armor.
Oh my god.
Oh, man,
Surprised
I'm
we didn't hear you coming.
So, hello everyone. I am Ella. I am a gnome. I am a cleric also, and I am part wizard. I have awesome ginger hair. It's very crazy. Yeah. And I'm cute as a button sometimes.
Ah,
Sometimes.
yes.
All the time.
It's not like you can just
Most of
turn
the
it
time.
off at
All the
will.
time.
And is it,
All the
Um,
time.
and just to make this as clear as I can, my name is Jameeeesh. I'm the dungeon master. I'm the one who's responsible for the mess that you're about to watch. But also,
I do blame you.
I blame you. The party acquired an NPC and decided to drag him along on their adventure, named Arthrin, who's taken levels in Ranger and Rogue, and I've become the kind of unofficial player of the campaign with him for as long as the party want him around, and then maybe I don't know what their plans are. So, and that's basically Arthur in a nutshell. Have no idea what's going on. Cool. What's happened so far in the campaign was that the party met in a small fishing village called Uthella, where they were contracted to find some potion components. It was a dangerous mission out into the middle of the lake, a kind of lakeside fishing village, which resulted in Joril, unfortunately, leaving this mortal coil when attacked by a huge, giant sea octopus creature. And
I got better.
you did get better after a very, very long and drawn-out resurrection quest, which took them across the country, up the Trine Mountains to the Trine Temple, where they met some ancient or elderly, some younger temple masters. You guys did a bunch of good deeds for those guys up there to enter the catacombs and basically grab the attention of the Drow goddess Edistrai when you were destroying a Drow. Oh, what are they called? The kind of spider
Drider.
people? The Drider.
Rider.
Yeah. And you destroyed the kind of wraith left by some ancient evil. And Joril was resurrected. You guys came back down the mountain, where you have just headed off a huge horde of gnolls. Compared to the kind of horrors you faced up on the mountaintop, the gnolls really weren't an issue for you, and you guys are just spending the night with the town of Trinstone at the base of the Trine Mountain in sight of you, as you have returned, having harvested as many gnoll ears as you could physically carry, and you seem to have also adopted a set of gnoll pups, which to whatever end that will lead you, we will see. So that's the story as it currently stands. Thank you so much for tuning in, and guys, you wake up. It's the morning of the 28th of 28th of Myrtle. It's just after daybreak. You can see in the kind of horizon line, which is predominantly dominated by the mountains. You can see the line of the wall of Trinstone. There's a smell of kind of morning dew in the air, and Brüz, I imagine that you probably want to go and have a word with a tree.
Absolutely, Brüz. Brüz is always up at the crack of dawn, and as is always, we'll go out for a word, have a chat to the trees.
Fantastic.
And, balance the fluids.
Yes, good. It is good to achieve balance in that respect. What would you guys like to do?
Cold this morning?
There's a bit of a chill in the air.
Is the sun?
I mean, the sun is breaking. Let's see, it rises in the east, sets in the west. So yeah, there's a shadow that's being cast in your direction by the mountain, and it's keeping it a little bit kind of moist and chilly. But in a couple of hours' time, the sun will be high enough to kind of burn away all of the mildew. What would you guys like to do?
Kicks off his hooves against another tree and joins the others.
Arthrin's there cooking breakfast. Morning, all.
Oh, morning, Arthrin. How did you sleep?
Yeah, okay. I mean, been used to being out in the sticks, I suppose. It's definitely better than sleeping on the side of the mountain, isn't it?
Well, I mean, unless there's a good chair, one must make do with what one has.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can pop back to the eye and find a good chair for you once we're back in town.
I remember there being a good one by the fireplace.
Oh yeah, that's probably still there, Brüz. I don't think much has changed.
No.
You guys are gonna head into town?
Has somebody rounded up the gnoll pubs?
I'm counting my gnolls.
Oh yeah. Make a perception check, Joril.
They've all run away.
Okay, hold on. What the heck's my perception? I hope it's okay. I rolled an 8.
Oh, well, you need that modifier.
What's
Good
the
thing you're
modifier?
proficient.
My modifier is
4.
+4.
12. It takes you a little minute, but you realise that there are 6.
You have the wisdom of someone who would adopt several gnolls.
Yep. So what are you guys gonna do?
Wait,
What's the result of the roll?
What's the result of the roll?
Oh, you kind of glance around. It takes you a little bit longer than perhaps it would normally, and you realise that there are 6 gnoll pups.
I'm missing one. Is it one of the big ones or one of the little ones?
One of the bigger ones is missing.
I would imagine it would have been a big
Okay.
Lost the gnoll pup already.
Okay, I gotta go find one of my missing gnoll pup.
Brüz goes and helps look.
Okay, so Joril, you can make an investigation check with advantage.
Okay.
I'm gonna separately be looking.
Okay.
Me too, just from where
Okay,
Okay. If you're looking like as in getting down and trying to track investigation, if you're just looking
rolled
around with your
an
eyes, then
18,
perception.
I'm
And
gonna
with
look around.
investigation, that is a 19.
Okay.
Oh, you probably found them.
You guys have stopped in a kind of there's a sort of fantasy lay-by. I described it as last time. Just like there's a little kind of ditch. The road kind of widens and there's a ditch on the left-hand side. You're on the left-hand side of the road heading towards town, and it's like you kind of look through that ditch, like adjacent, running parallel to where your camp is. It's not there, and then you kind of like jump across and look a little bit further afield, and yeah, about half of a field's length across, you can see ruffling and movement of the kind of tall grass. You head towards it. It's the gnoll pup kind of heading its own way. Looks up at you. Oh.
I am relieved to have found him, and I'm like, okay, don't wander off anymore, okay? Like, hi, how you doing?
Make an animal handling check. Yeah,
You
I
should
haven't
tie
put
ropes
some-
around their waists.
I haven't put on any music. Sorry. Let me pop that on.
I don't think they like that very much, but yeah, I guess I should have some sort of system to keep them together, at least.
I mean, if you can teach them to hold on to the rope, sure. But...
Yeah.
You've made
What-
like
what about
makeshift
like
harnesses last time. You remember that?
Okay, let's put some kid leashes on them.
Mhm.
How about we lash them together as a group, and we can then maybe hitch them up to a small carriage or a sled.
Let's not not get ahead of ourselves.
You need to wait
I
till
read
those
an
ones are
interesting
bigger.
tome once about these people who would go up in the snow with a bunch of dogs.
Okay, that's an interesting idea, but some of them are very small.
Well, obviously we start them off with a smaller carriage.
Okay.
Like a wagon?
Oh my god.
I don't. I'll think about it, but I don't think I want to hitch up people to be
No,
pack
no.
animals, I guess.
No, they are pack animals though.
Well, you
They
know
want
what I
to be
mean.
grouped.
There's a difference between being in a pack and being a beast of burden, you know?
No, but well, yes, that I suppose. But
just-
whilst they don't mind and they've got lots of energy,
True. They probably do need an outlet for all that energy.
What was your
give them
perception? What was
purpose, and then
your
they'll be less scary to the people. Bruce
animal handling
leans in
check?
and goes, I know a thing or two
You do
about
have
being
you do
scary."
have a point. I will think on this. How am I supposed to get a wagon?
Joril, did you roll an animal handling check to like control the pup?
Oh, right. Rolling 11 plus animal handling is
12.
12.
Okay. He does nip at you as you oh, okay, I guess your armor class is probably less than 17, is that correct?
It's 14.
Yeah. You manage to get him under control, but he nips you and he does a little bit of damage. You take 3 hit points of piercing damage as
And
the gnoll
when that
nips at you.
happens, I make a really loud, obvious "ow" noise so that he knows he hurt me.
I mean, yeah, the
And
gnoll's
then
aware.
I'm gonna ignore him because, and then I'm going to not show him any attention for a little while.
Are you gonna leave
until
him
he
there?
Apologizes.
I'll lean across to Arthrin and say, you know what? They're actually kind of growing on me.
Eirys. I think that really hurt Joril. Oh my god.
He's trying to teach them that biting isn't okay, and I'm not going to give them like positive attention if they bite me.
So you're gonna carry it across without looking at it. Is that true? Is that
Yeah.
what we do? Okay. So yeah, you guys gather all of your things and the pups. There's enough kind of makeshift harnesses that you made in the gnoll cave to kind of keep them all together into a big group. Basically, it makes Joril and Brüz look like a pair of dog walkers. And actually, one of the ones that's quite large, the one that managed to get away, occasionally kind of just like rises up off of his front 2 paws and just does a few steps forward on its hind legs. So it looks like that one's beginning to kind of gain confidence and is making that
one that Brüz has or Joril has.
Joril. It's the one that Joril's collected, the one that managed to get away from
Okay.
the rest of the group.
Which
the big one.
one is it, Deanna?
The big one.
Yeah, what's its name? It's
I don't
number
know. It's either Hugo or Vide. I don't know which one though.
No, I mean just decide which one it was.
Sure. It's yeah. I'm gonna say it's Vide.
Okay. Vide is slightly bigger than his brother. So that's why he was able to kind of get away. He's more inquisitive, kind of maybe a bit stronger. As you guys head up towards town, the wall kind of Trinstone, meets you. And the mountains loom ever higher. You can see kind of snaking up from the town, the staircase that moves into the sort of mountain pass that you guys traveled up when you were going to the temple on your prior quest. There's a couple of guards stationed at what now looks to be a fairly fresh and fully repaired gate that had been destroyed in the prior gnoll attack. And yeah, they see you coming, and let's have a look.
I feel like we should decide what to do about the gnolls before we approach the gate.
Oh, I don't know.
That was out of character.
Yep.
I don't think I want to show them to anyone because most people who know what a gnoll is aren't going to be. I don't want to risk it, you know.
Do you think you'll be alright waiting in the woods or whatever? Are there woods around here? I keep forgetting if Frontal Plains are woods.
I mean, there's the occasional sort of copse of trees and like hedgerows that you might kind of crouch down in, but nothing
This is
big.
a rocky hellscape.
It's like plains. It's fields. There are occasionally
Hellscape.
like kind of rocky outcroppings because you're next to the mountains, but they open up into fields a few miles away from where you are to the west.
Are there any unusual rocky outcroppings?
Make a perception check.
Okay. I got a 12.
Okay. Yeah. You kind of get your vague bearings. You spend a few minutes, and Arthrin starts tapping his toe a little bit impatiently. He's keen to get back to town.
Just looking.
But you get a vague sense that the rocky outcropping that you had come along when you were traveling from the lake to this town, and where you had found a cavern. I don't know if you guys remember this because it was a year ago, but like you had gone into a kobold lair and rescued some gemstones for a dragonborn. And
Oh, it's near here?
Huh.
it's not that far away. It might be a few hours, but it's in this vicinity, and you're fairly sure that the kind of rocky outcropping that cavern system was along is in this direction, that you've deduced that there's a rocky outcropping nearby. Other than that, it's fields, it's hedgerows.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So
just relay the information to Joril, and he can decide
Huh.
where he wants to wait.
okay.
Well, I guess somewhere that I'm not likely to find very many people.
Yeah, those are the two places I just said.
Okay, so the outcropping sort of place.
Yeah, that'd
okay.
probably be safer. Who knows
Yeah.
what's inside the cave at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to
So there's
go.
shelter if it rains, and
You might be able to find some kind of crags in there, but there's the cave system that you guys were in, that Reminder Joril wasn't in because Joril was dead at the time. That's a few hours down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to kind of stick around there while everybody else goes into town, I mean that's up to you.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll end up doing.
Okay. Arthrin kind of like steps forward, like, I mean, aren't you going to be a bit lonely?
Oh, I'm not going to be alone.
Yeah, I'll
I
probably
have
go
like
with
a
him.
whole pack with me.
Oh, that too.
Hang on. Do you mind if I like maybe talk to the guards and see if it would be okay? Because it seems a shame for you to be like out of town while the rest of us are in. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
All right, but read the room.
Yeah.
If it seems like they'd kill the gnolls, then
Okay.
I'm mostly concerned about like not only their safety, but I don't want them like running off and biting someone and getting in trouble.
I'm concerned about them finding it suspicious.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want them thinking we're running some
but
sort of
yeah.
war racket where we
I
come and
mean,
attack their town and then steal
It's
their
not
knowledge.
as like it. You do have a good point, and if it is possible that it doesn't have to be like we don't have to be too sneaky about it, then that would be ideal. But
If we manage, if we convince them to let the dogs into town, because that's basically what they are, then I'll come back for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Shall we go?
Yeah, I think they're all going.
So everyone bar.
Don't worry too much about me. I got it.
Okay.
He says, trying to be as convincing as possible and not show his nerves, I guess.
Could you survive 7d4 damage?
Well, just about to say.
70? What?
No,
What?
you could not.
I could not.
I mean,
yes.
you could if it rolled bad.
Brüz
I'm not
realizes
going
that
to
everyone else is
fight
walking off and then
Mhm.
stays with Joril.
Oh, okay. So Brüz is going
I
to
was
stick around.
probably gonna
Oh.
stay too.
Oh no, I'll stay here with you. We'll look up. We'll do some training. I've read some tomes about how you can teach a canine many interesting tricks.
Probably should teach him Drowish sign.
That would be good.
I don't know if it's soft.
I've heard that children and pets understand sign better than speech.
Do they have hands?
Yeah, they have like polydactyl paws, I bet.
That's good enough.
Polydactyl paws? What fabulous words!
You know, that just means
He reads.
they
Rolls his eyes.
you know, like most cats and dogs have a dew claw, and sometimes, I mean, this happens in regular cats and dogs. They'll have a really overdeveloped dew claw that is basically a thumb. It's like a big stupid thumb.
You're a
Eirys just walks
I
by.
believe I've seen
not a
a
very stupid
Rottweiler with
thumb.
such a toe.
The largest pup. What was his name?
The largest one is Vide.
Vide.
Which is the Drow. It's
Yeah.
the Drowist word for pride, and
Yeah.
it rhymes with Vide. So.
So Vide, as the others leave and Brüz, Joril, Kyro, are you sticking around with them?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't
Brüz,
really have to
Joril,
go
and
into town
Kyro.
for any reason.
Okay, so the three of you stick around, and as you do, Vide sort of like
Did I have a
looks
reason?
up at Kyro, and
Whatever.
he kind of like gives a little kind of brave howl, and he leans back, and as he does, he kind of stumbles back onto two legs and goes and kind of loses balance and falls forward onto his two forelegs.
I go to see if he's okay.
He's fine. He hasn't fallen backwards. He fell back forwards onto his forelegs.
Okay.
He's getting to stand.
I'm like, good job. What a smart boy.
Brüz wants to go and find the smallest gnoll pup.
And I start, trying to get them to learn a little bit of sign. I'm gonna start.
Just letting you know you interrupted.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Hey, don't panic. It's fine.
Well,
Yeah, what are you gonna? So what's Jojorawr gonna do, and then what's Brüz gonna do?
Well, Joril's gonna try to start teaching them sign. Basic things like the words for hungry, thirsty, good, bad, etc.
Okay.
So that they can maybe communicate a little bit.
Okay. You can make an animal handling check for that. Brüz, you said you were finding the smallest one.
Yeah, Brüz wants to go and find just the litter, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And then just sort of like pull it out of the lot and just kind of chat to it a bit.
Okay. You can make your own animal handling check then. What are you gonna say?
I rolled an 18 for teaching them basic signs.
Okay. Okay. They seem
like-
to grasp, like they seem to go along with you for a little bit, but it feels like some of it might be working, some of it is just going completely over their heads. One of them
Even
starts
if they just
nipping at his
learn a
brother.
couple
And,
words, that
Mostly you
can-
just want to associate it with different daily activities. Like,
Yeah,
if
so-
they're tired, teach them the sign for being sleepy. If they're hungry, teach them the sign for food, etc.
Yeah.
you feel like
Yeah.
that process has
It's
begun.
gonna be like
That
a-
But it's
way
gonna
I'll
take-
know what they need
yeah.
better.
It's going to take more training in the time that it takes the others to get to
Yeah.
town and then maybe pop back to see you. But
Okay.
it takes up the
It's
majority
a-
of your time.
It's
for sure.
a start.
Brüz, you've picked up the smallest one. What was your animal handling check?
I have a +4 to animal handling and rolled 17.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, so as you're kind of like cradling it and you're soothing it with your frankly chocolatey voice, and it seems really drawn to you, and it's having a blast. It's having a good time with Uncle Brüz.
I've sort of kicked him on his back. I've sort of rolled him over. I'm just sort of scratching his chest.
Yeah,
And,
it kind of gives a hyena-ish giggle as it enjoys that. It likes you. It likes you, buddy.
yes, that's a good little thing.
Which one's that, Deanna?
Okay, I'm
The
gonna
smallest.
say the smallest. So I'm gonna say it's number 7, which is Zale, which means patient.
Ah,
So I'm gonna write likes
Bruise.
Brüz.
Brüz.
Anyway, in the meantime, while this is all happening, Arthrin, Ella, Eirys, Yell, the four of you head to the gate of town. The two guards kind of see you approach. One of them says, "Hail! I assume that you're back from the Gnoll Cave, or?"
We've got gnoll ears.
Ah, wow. He looks at the bag that you've held up that's full of, like, blood-stained, like, some of the material on the outside is seeping through. There's dripping.
Put them in Eirys's bag of holding.
Oh, okay. He kind of, like, cocks his head a little bit like, okay. I mean,
Fake magic.
it's probably best if I take you to the acting captain.
Fabulous. Let's go.
All right. Follow me. And another about 20-minute walk leads you up the first sort of section of town to the second level, which you remember contained the blacksmith, the sort of mayor residence / kind of council chamber, and the garrison. Much unchanged as you had last left it. As you guys step across to the left-hand side into the garrison, on the right-hand side you hear a kung, kung, kung. And you guys got a glimpse of the sort of green, kind of dark green skin shoulders of Delvin as he works the forge. You guys step into the garrison. The couple of guards at the door, one of them doubles in and alerts the captain, who you remember is the halfling Caleb, and he kind of comes out. He's looking considerably less bedraggled than last time Eirys and Kyro saw him. He appears sober, which is a rarity for your experience. And he comes out. Thank you, Alfie. I appreciate that. You can return to your post. Greetings.
Bye, Alfie.
Alfie kind of looks at you, Ella, like, a bit confused, gives you a nod and steps outside the front door. So you're in this kind of main... He kind of squints his eyes like in confusion, but keeps on going. Caleb is a halfling. He's dressed in an ill-fitted sort of leather hauberk, belying the rank of captain, but also belying the fact that it wasn't designed for him. The belt that's around the midriff is a bit tight, and he kind of looks up at all of you. Well, I must say I'm glad to see you again. I wasn't holding out all the hope in the world for your return, but I'm glad to see you. How was the hunting? Successful. That's excellent. We had agreed on... let me see. Alfie! Her front door opens. The guy from before kind of leans in. It was 5 gold pieces per ear, sir. Closes the door.
Bye, Alfie.
Bye. Closes the door. Well, 5 gold pieces per ear, and I shall. I mean, were you fully successful? Are they completely destroyed?
I'm not there, but...
Yep. Completely destroyed.
Make a deception check.
Sorry.
Well, we can go deeper into the cave.
This is going to go well.
Ella is not good at this. Ella really isn't good at this.
Why are you doing things? You're bad.
3.
Caleb just sort of looks at Ella as she says this, and then Eirys, he looks at you just like, so you left some?
We killed all the adults. One of us has adopted all the gnoll children. He's outside the gates right now.
Oh.
Adopted is a strong word.
Oh my goodness. Arthrin kind of steps forward.
Strong but fair.
To be fair, you know, they were babies. Like they're not going to be dangerous to anyone, are they?
Not for a while.
I think that we all know what the answer to that question is, don't we? This puts us in a pickle. I was willing to pay you a bonus upon the destruction of the entire pack. You're telling me that hasn't happened. I'll happily pay you for the ears that you have brought us, 5 gold pieces per. But I hope that you'll understand me when I abstain from paying you a bonus for the entire job. I'm sorry, I have a community to protect, and
I don't think he ever told us about this bonus, so we never would have known.
he did.
Oh, he did? Well, we forgot.
At least one of us rewatched the video. Sorry. Arthrin kind of steps forward, just like, hang on, wait a minute, wait. I mean, Caleb, like, Mr. Lastron? I mean, I've been enjoying being addressed as captain, so if you could continue. Captain Lastron, I must inquire, these are just babies, and Joril's taken them under his care. Like, they're not going to be a danger to anybody. We've removed all elements of the danger.
Well, they're not going to be a danger to this town. We're buggering off soon.
Exactly. Arthrin's going to roll persuasion with advantage because of that help from Yell. Okay. So...
Give me the persuasion, Arthrin.
Oh, but Arthrin led.
I know.
Oh,
12. What's
tried.
the bonus?
He
What's
might
the
be okay.
bonus?
It's
Looking
fine.
up the bonus for the...
Can't do any worse than
I'm sure he's
Ella, so.
very charismatic.
Guys, D&D Beyond.
I
He rolled a
appreciate
13.
trying.
He rolled a 13. He kind of...
Rolling a 13 is good.
Better
Caleb kind of like looks between Arthrin and Yell. He folds his arms. Well, if they're under your care... I mean, where are they now? Are your companions in town?
I missed that. What was that, sorry?
Are your companions in town? I mean, they're not with you. I mean, are these gnoll children in Trinstone?
You wouldn't be so foolish.
No.
Listen, I appreciate that you've been forthright with the information, albeit unwillingly. He looks at Ella. I suppose if you can guarantee that you will take measures to make sure these pups don't cause any harm. I mean, honestly, given everything else that you've done for this town, I can't have your companions staying outside of town on account of some gnoll children. I'll be happy to accommodate you in town, but I'm sorry, I cannot give you full payment for a job that you have not completed. I hope you understand that.
How much was the bonus?
Well, that's a question that I don't have to answer anymore.
Don't worry about it. I think
Good,
this is
that's
probably the
not
best we're
yes,
gonna get
yes,
out of
yes.
him.
Humour me, Caleb. How much was the bonus?
Make a persuasion check.
She doesn't know how much she should be upset.
21.
Listen, it doesn't matter, and certainly...
Because Joril now owes us that much, as he was the only one who wanted to adopt them.
If
Suppose
I...
you tell me how much.
If I had certainly... If I send a rider to the cavern, and he confirms that all of them are destroyed... I mean, the Empire gave me a letter a couple of days ago. In fact, just yesterday. They were willing to reward 1,000 gold pieces.
Oh my god.
Those caves are empty.
I have one thing to
Once
add.
us-
Caleb.
once
TheSwiss,
us-
not.
Once our scouts confirm that, we'll happily we'll be resting easy and knowing that that threat has been removed. But as long as any of them are left alive, that's not something that I'm willing
Just
to
the knowledge you
condone.
wanted dead, right?
Just the
Your
gnolls.
scouts are welcome to check, but I do recommend that they lay low and are stealthy because we did see some Underdark creatures in there.
Really?
I
They're
will not-
all slimy and gooey.
Oh my goodness.
Giant
Thank-
blobs.
Thank you. That's really great information. I will definitely convey that to our scout team. And where I was about to send one man, I will now send 5. Thank you.
Can't find any gnolls.
I'm sure that we won't. I do believe you, but the Empire's given me the coin for a purpose. It's the complete destruction of the gnoll group, and you're telling me it hasn't been done. So I will happily pay you for the agreed rate per ear. How many ears do you have?
56.
56 times 5 gold. It's not nothing.
I pull them out of the bag of holding and just on the floor, I guess.
The bag that you kind of like, you got like a sack
Everything's gonna come out of it
material.
then.
Yeah, just like it's barely holding together
No,
because it's so
I
full.
don't like tip it inside out. It's a bag of holding, so I don't like tip it inside out. But I'm literally just like gnoll ears, put them on the floor. Gnoll ears, put them on the floor. Releasing them.
Oh, we could say for the sake of expediency, you'd found like some sackcloth material in the Gnoll cavern to store it all in, and it just makes one large sack that just goes on the floor. And as it does, it falls to the side. The top falls open, and Nia's just goes smearing all over the ground. Caleb's eyes widen. Yes, well, it's I'm not giving you nothing. I'm not giving you nothing, especially
That's
for
okay.
such
We'll
a
get
efficient
5
harvest.
golden ear, and then Joril will pay us the rest over time.
Arrangement you have with your traveling companions is your business. Alfie, doors opens. Yes, boss.
Hi, Alfie!
Hi. Sorry, boss. What is it? I need you to take another guard, someone who's off duty, and open up the coffer. 56 times 5. What's that? Alfie looks like
280.
280.
Anyone just hear Brüz?
280 gold pieces. And the guard kind of like looks. Oh, that's a lot of money. Oh yes, and Alfie. Yes. Head to stores and take out the insignia tray. Just remove the entire tray and bring it to me. Really, sir? Yes, really. Oh, okay. All right. And he kind of doubles back down one of the corridors to maybe where the residential section for the guard is. Caleb turns to you. Well, we can certainly square away the 280 here, and when I'm willing to offer you an opportunity to rest and to take some reward for your efforts. I wasn't really in the strongest state of mind when last we were talking, given everything that was happening in town, but you have restored a semblance of order to Trinstone that hasn't truly existed in months with the destruction of these gnolls. And given your efforts with the giant attack, and given repelling the gnoll attack as well, you've helped this community, I would say, to an extent far beyond just a band of sellswords. If you'd be willing to stick around for a day and take care of any business you might have, tomorrow I'd like to offer you the opportunity to be formally commended for everything you've done for the town. Would that be
That
something you'd be
decision is-
agreeable?
That decision is Arthrin's.
Mine? What? Why?
Anya.
Oh. Yeah. I guess we know that Anya is probably not in any immediate danger. And what Lastron is saying is right. You've done so much for us. This is my home. He turns to Lastron. We'd like to stick around. I feel like if you've got some kind of honor planned, I think these people deserve it. Caleb nods. Very well. The square. You know the space where when you first came into town, it was where the circus was being hosted in the green in the middle of. There was when
Yeah, we kind of missed it.
you remember.
I don't think Yell ever saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it was somewhat beleaguered by the fact that there was a gnoll attack, and the fact you guys went straight up the mountain, like it basically a day afterwards. But there was a circus camping out into town, and it had left town while you were up the mountain.
Oh yeah. Like I know out of character, but I don't think Yell ever saw the circus.
Okay. Yes, there was a circus in town here
Like, no!
a few weeks ago, and
Oh man.
the green was where they stayed, and the town green is where we'll set up the stage for this ceremony. I think it only right. So please, make the most of your day, and we'll see you at daybreak tomorrow in the town green. Yes, Slimdil. Is there anything else I can do for you? Oh, and as he talks, Alfie and one other guardsman kind of comes out with a chest, a small chest, kind of, and they're carrying it one each. It's as if they're kind of like they have protocol that they follow when they're kind of dealing with the Empire's gold, and they kind of place it on a end table nearby where you're all standing. One of them gets out a small key, and it is full of gold pieces, 200 and 280. Caleb kind of walks up to it. He kind of stands on his tiptoes. He is a halfling, and puts his hand in and just like shows you guys that there's gold inside. 280 gold pieces. Is that correct, Alfie? Yes, sir. And he looks at you all, the guard. Thank you so much for everything. You know, my boy can sleep safe now. I appreciate that. Very good, says Caleb. I will leave you to your devices. This gold is yours. Why don't you keep the chest as well? Why not? Kind of, the two guards kind of pick it up and bring it over to. Who's going to take it?
How big is it?
It's enough to hold 280 gold pieces. So I'd say about.
Too big for the bag of holding, I'm guessing.
Well, 10 inches by maybe 6 or 7, and it's about 7 or 8 inches deep. So
Those aren't that big, really. You can stack them.
yeah. You can definitely fit this individual item in there.
Yeah, we can sort it out later.
It's more of a fancy box than a chest.
Yeah.
Eirys does an almost magic trick where she puts the bag around it and then just picks the bag up and it seems empty.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, like the amount of space that the gnoll ears were taking up is probably marginally more than the amount of space that the chest is taking up. So it's
But it's a bag of
It's back
holding.
holding.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
It makes pocket dimensions for each item.
Oh, is that true?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very
Well,
magical that way.
there you go. Cool. So you guys have been paid your rudimentary rate. As you guys step out, Arthrin says, I guess that one of our first ports of call is to grab the others and tell them it's okay to come into town.
Oh, I suppose.
I'll go and do that then. I'll talk to you guys later, okay?
Alright.
See you in a bit.
I'll come with you.
Oh, all right, Ella.
Okay.
Curious.
Arthur and
Go
Ella
with
head
her.
off.
No, I was gonna ask something real stupid that was just for a dumb thing that Yell was gonna do, but it's fine.
What's Yell gonna do? What's Yell gonna do?
Oh no, he was just gonna
Curious
ask Ella to confirm that Alfie said he had a kid. Because if he didn't and it was the other guard, Yell was gonna suggest a ridiculous plan to Ella.
Oh, damn it.
Oh my god. Arthur and Ella head back out into the front of
Ella's-
town. Oh yeah, go for
Ella's
it.
gonna go with our friend to begin with,
Mhm.
and then she's gonna say, "I'll be right back. I just gotta go
Huh?
find Will."
Wilf. Who's Wilf? And it's too late. You're already gone. All right. So you go.
He waits.
It's difficult. I mean, make an investigation check, Ella.
Oh no! I hope I find him.
Ask around.
Okay, that's not too. Skills. That's what I need. Okay, investigation. La 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 la.
You're smart. So.
16.
16. I'll say it takes you a few minutes. You kind of you've left Arthrin just at the gate, and you were looking around, hoping that he was at his place that you found him when he was on duty at the gate, whittling. He's not there. You double back, you go around, you find behind one of the buildings to the east side of town a set of stairs that leads up onto the wall. You look left, look right, nobody appears to be looking. You double up the stairs onto the side of the wall itself, and a few like about 20 or 30 feet along, whistling. While he is whittling, is Wilf.
Yeah.
Will.
Huh? Oh, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, good. We all survived. We're all alive.
Ah, that's good. Yeah. I actually do have this for you. And he reaches into his back pocket. I'm not sure if you should be on the wall, but it's fine. You'll be okay. Here you go. He hands over
no
the...
one will see me. I'm small enough.
Okay. This is a DM question for player. I think... Did you pay him?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you'd already
Pretty sure
paid
I
him.
did.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That was actually quite an interesting thing to carve. I got a lot of kicks out of that. Appreciate it.
I'm pleased.
Well, it's just a little craftsman that is maybe I should actually go for that side business. If you're willing to give me money, maybe other people are.
Yeah.
All right.
Do it. Follow your dreams.
He's gonna make a... Oh my
Follow your
god.
dream check.
Crit. His eyes light up and he says, "Yes. Maybe I will. Maybe I will, Ella." And he kind of just ruffles your hair and he's looking, his eyes are glowing with inspiration. You've changed this man's life.
I'm so happy for him.
I love changing lives.
So happy for your wealth. Do it. Go for it. Spread your wings.
I think I will. And he returns to his whistling furiously. And as you're going, little pieces of wood are flying everywhere off of the piece of wood he's working on.
Ella fixes broken bones and lives.
Oh my god. I love this campaign. Cool. So you return to the front. Arthrin's there. It's been a few minutes. Oh, you're back. Everything all right?
Yep. All good. I had a catch up with Wilf. He's cool.
Wolf.
He's gonna do whittling now. He's gonna do
what?
carpentry. Yeah.
I mean, does Arthrin's going to do a history check? Natural one. Who the hell is Wilf?
Oh, he's a friend I made.
Oh, okay. Let's walk and talk.
It's always good to make.
You
Let's go get the others.
the couple of miles out to the couple of miles out to the rocky outcropping where it kind of levels out. You are just completely pelting Arthrin with just Wilf's backstory and how great it is. And by the end of it, Arthrin's shoulders are raised and his head is cocked to one side. He's like, "Oh my god!"
It's Ella has verbal diarrhea.
Yeah. And Arthrin's just like, "Please, for the love of God, I get it. Stop talking." You guys end up finding Joril and Brüz and Kyro.
Hi.
Hey. We talked to Caleb Lastron. You remember the halfling?
Yeah, I remember him.
He says that it's cool. It's okay for us to be in town with the pups. He was going to give us a bonus though, and he's denied it because some of the gnolls are still alive.
All right.
And Joril's a little bit he has sort of a cold expression, and he's like, "All right," which is sort of how
He's an eyebrow at you, what?
Yeah, just basically Joril's anger is very cold.
Why are you mad?
Because basically this guy wanted us to kill a bunch of babies for money.
Shrugs. That's what some people want, I guess.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, I don't have to like those people.
You don't have to get paid.
I suppose I don't."
Yeah, your choice, man.
Arthur's like, "And indeed, it looks like we're not. I mean, honestly, I think, all things considered, we'll probably earn money elsewhere. I think you've made the right choice, Joril."
Thank you. I think I did too.
You guys return to town. You have a kind of, almost like a cloud of puppy dogs, a couple of them occasionally rearing up onto their hind legs.
And still whittling on to Arthrin.
Wait, I want to hear what Ella has to say.
Congratulations, you now know the life of Will.
I think she's moved on to other stuff now.
Really? What?
Proficiencies.
What are you talking about?
Wilf is
Oh,
just proficiencies.
Roll for Wilf.
Roll for Wilf.
I genuinely want to listen to Ella.
I'm curious now.
Please.
What does Ella say to Kyro?
Oh, what? He's listening in, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm listening to what you have to say.
You have an audience.
Oh, no, look at me. What? Oh, God.
It's one of my many, many good qualities. You can listen.
So Wilf is now becoming a whittler because I changed his life.
What's a whittler?
You know, but he has some wood and he whittles it into things.
You
He did it
mean
as like a side hobby, but
you mean like a sculptor?
yeah, like a carpenter. That's it, carpenter. That's the word I'm looking for. Carpenter. And he like chops away. You know, he was. Where was he last time? Oh, he was at his post last time, but then he moved, so I had to go and find him. He was up a wall. Then he told me I shouldn't be up the wall, but I said, "Don't worry, I'm small enough. No one will see me." So I went back down, and it was awesome. And then I've been talking to Arthrin.
You have a halfling captain.
Please, for the love of God, take this gnome from me.
Gladly.
Here you go.
So, Kyro, how did the go? What?
No,
What's
wait,
it
what did you say?
How many gnome babies have you got now? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
7.
He had 7.
Oh, okay, cool. Wow, they are ugly. Sorry, they are.
And he looks slightly offended.
Sorry. My mum always told me
And he like covers the ears of the nearest gnoll baby.
They don't know language.
It's
they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
He's like,
Yeah. So, do they sit, stand? What do they do? Speak?
well, mostly they giggle a lot, and they
Oh, but that's really
Right.
cute.
they also wrestle a little.
And bite.
Oh, that was wrestling.
I've been trying to teach them how to, control their bites and not bite people too hard.
Play bites.
Do you wanna
Yeah.
try and
It's
show
good
her
for
something?
them to play. It's bad for them to hurt people.
I mean, that could come in handy though.
Joril, would you like to show Ella something they can do?
Yeah, show me.
I've really been teaching them tricks. What can they? I can get them to. Maybe I can try to get them to like.
High five.
That would be amazing.
I think maybe he's been trying to. Oh yeah, he's been trying to teach them signs, so he can try and show her that.
Okay. What would
So
you?
he tries to sign like hello to them and see if they respond.
And do their name signs.
You do so to the oldest. Make an animal handling check.
Okay. Okay, that's 12.
12. You do attract the gnoll's attention with your movements, and he looks up, looks at you, Ella, looks back at you, Joril, and returns to walking.
And he's like,
Learned how to walk.
we're working on it.
Okay, fair enough.
I think they understand them at least. I just haven't got them to talk back to me yet.
I mean, learning takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gotta be patient and all that.
Okay, keep going.
All
Keep
right.
at them.
So you guys end up getting back at town at this point, where just as a reminder, you guys have agreed to stick around for a ceremony in your honor tomorrow. That Caleb
I did
is.
not do that.
Oh, okay. So that was Ella, Eirys, and Yell, and Arthrin. You were party to that. The day is yours. What would you like to do?
Eirys, when they leave, Eirys and Yell is still in town, and obviously Yell saw Arthrin and Ella go, and if he turns back, Eirys is already walking over to the blacksmith.
Sure. Again, you make your way over. You can hear the clanging of the blacksmith's tools. As you approach, there's a blade that's been lowered into some cooling oil, and you hear the and a cloud of vapor rises from around the forge. Delvin, that half-orc who you recognize from your adventures here, saving him from bleeding out in this very square when Captain Anya was kidnapped. He kind of he lays the blade to one side. He looks up out of his peripheral vision as he sees you approach. Well, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Hey, I'm here for my arrows.
Absolutely, I'd imagined that would be the case. Just bear with me for a few moments. He heads back into the store, where he comes out about 30 seconds later with your order. You had ordered how many?
Oh,
Remind me.
I had how many? I do not know if I paid for them or not, though.
I don't
Pretty sure
think.
you did because Yell got a job lot when he sold the dragon hide.
Makes sense.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
did a persuasion check.
Oh yeah, and you were like, those included.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine. I remember that.
Where was it with?
I don't remember how many you ordered. I don't think it was that many.
I have it written down. I think it was about 8, but
Okay.
hold on. While he's looking for them.
Okay.
Okay, it was before that. Okay, it was before that.
If I recall, I was gonna do the best I could to make as many as I could with the material y'all gave me. I was able to make.
It was 12.
I was able to make. I've just rolled a percentile dice. I was able to make 11 in all. Yeah, I could have potentially done more, but it's such a strange craft that I was doing. I actually I mucked up a fair few times to begin with, and I apologize for that. But you should be able to shoot these down a mine shaft or in the Underdark or wherever you happen to be, where there's no light, and it'll light the way.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Is there any more that I can do for you? I can sort of some regular arrows. I happened to get a few of those out of the way, seeing as I was making those.
Not right now. I'll come back if I need anything there.
All right. Well, you know where I am.
Thanks, Delvin.
Have a good day.
You too. And now walk away.
Yeah. Okay. Any other business for anybody else?
We go to the tavern, but it's going to take us, or me, a long time to walk down, so half an hour.
I'm probably
Yeah,
just-
between 20 minutes and half an hour.
Yeah.
Ella wants to go to the library.
Okay.
Unless I see somebody else from our party, I'm just gonna go wherever Ella's going.
Okay. Ella,
I
make
don't have anything better to do.
an investigation check.
Sorry?
Brüz has a little shopping he'd like to do
Okay.
in time.
Okay. We'll go Ella and Kyro, then I'll go to Brüz. Make an investigation check, Ella, as you try and
Give me a
source.
library. Ooh, okay. 16.
Okay. No library specifically, but you know, you're directed towards by another one of the guards, the council chamber, where there are, the closest thing to a library. There is some kind of, I guess a small sort of chamber where a variety of tomes are stored, and it is public access. Caleb has changed that. It didn't used to be the case, but Caleb has made it public access in the few days he's been in power. So you're able to walk up and access those books, those scrolls, those tomes, if you so please.
Cool.
It's
Nice.
adjacent to the main sort of council chamber.
Okay.
I'd like to look around the room.
Okay,
at things.
you guys head on up. Kira, make a investigation check.
Oh, I would say this is more perception.
Oh, you're just looking around. Okay, perception then.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Well, that's a good look. 19 plus my mod,
Mm-hmm.
which is 4, so 13. I mean 23.
23. It's better than 13. You
Yeah.
get the sense that this is the predecessor, who you personally came to know quite well as you were beating him senseless, was, he was corrupt. You got the sense that he was keen on hoarding things to himself. He was greedy. He was he didn't want to share. So this room actually looks fairly pristine, and you get the sense that he was using it solely for himself as a personal library. And there are a few sort of muddy sets of footprints around that belie that some people have poked their noses around since Caleb has opened it up, but there isn't masses of interest in books in a mining town.
Yeah.
You look around. The bookshelves seem to be a kind of dark oakish wood that's kind of heavy, and they're lined with a variety of tomes, books. As you're looking around, there's one that kind of stands out that's sort of bound in a sort of whitish, sort of threadish sort of embroidery on the kind of spine of the book. And it reads...
Like thread?
Yeah, it's like a threadish sort of embroidery that's almost decorative. And you take a step towards it, and it says in common, understanding Drow.
I don't know if I'm not going to try to read it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
I'm just going to look at it.
Yeah.
Just tell me what it looks like.
I mean, it's sort of...
I'll take it out of the shelf and look at it, though.
Yeah, it's a reddish leather that's kind of embroidered on the spine with a white thread that kind of flowers up in a variety of swirls. There's a swirly pattern to it. You can't read it, but it says understanding Drow. And
I mean, I can read it. It would just take forever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
And the Drow can't understand it. So ironic.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of look at the front cover, you open it up. It's pretty text heavy, but about halfway through in the middle, there appear to be a number of pages, maybe between 10 and 20, that are devoted to illustrations.
Oh, what?
You recognize the vague kind of symbols of your people.
Oh.
And on another page...
It's written in common, though?
The book is written in common.
Weird.
Yeah, and what you notice is about these symbols is they're not quite right. They're like there's mistakes.
They got their research wrong.
Yeah, this is somebody who's obviously maybe a researcher who's really interested in Drow society, but obviously no one's ever really been down there, and you can just pick up.
I'm gonna turn to Ella and be like, "Hey, Ella, this book has Drow stuff in it."
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yep.
It's bad.
It's bad. Wait, am I there?
As in the writing?
I mean, I probably wouldn't have brought all my children into a library. It's full of paper.
I don't know. You tell me. I'll hand her the book.
Oh, cool. Ella quickly flicks through it.
That seems to be split up into like various pieces that begin to start with the history of the Drow, and that's the first half, and then after the illustrations is contemporary Drow society, and you get the sense from Kyro's dismissiveness of the book, and from you. I mean, make an intelligence check as you read it.
Okay. I want to insight Ella while she's reading it.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. 16 again.
16. Yeah, they use. From what you know of your studies with Nihilus, there was a lot of language. You actually picked up a lot of vocabulary with him, and you get the sense, a slight sense, that ever so often in this section that you're reading, the author is using words that you're not sure that he understand or they understand the meaning of.
Mm-hmm.
So an example in context, something like, Drow combat initiates are serendipitous as they are ambidextrous, and you're like, I'm not sure that this guy. You get the feeling that he's just trying to sound clever as opposed to actually like saying anything.
So it's less that he doesn't know about Drow and more that he doesn't know about anything.
Well, I don't know. From the intelligence check that you've rolled, maybe it's a way to sell a book about a society that nobody knows about.
Ah.
Who knows?
Okay.
Like...
I got a 13.
13. Ella seems genuinely interested. Yeah. Not trying to hide anything.
Okay.
No.
I'm just wondering how she feels about this book.
Okay. If there's anything else, I mean, that's the main thing that grabs Kyro's eye. What about you, Ella?
Oh, she's sorry, she's got a list. You apologise.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about like? Is there any books on like religion or anything like that?
Make an investigation check.
Do, 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 do. 17.
17. Yeah, you pretty quickly recognize the symbol of Helm.
Okay. Yes, that's what I need. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'm just going to move the screen around a bit so we can see a bit more of the world map. Yeah,
Did
so
he
you
come with us as well?
you pick up the volume
Not
of
into
Helm.
the library. That's
Um,
full of paper. I don't want my
Okay.
babies to eat all the books.
Okay, I was just wondering.
There's a lot of diatribe that you're already familiar with, given your life in the Temple of Helm back in Farin's Tale. And actually, there appeared to be a list near the back of the book of temples of Helm, and you recognise Farin's Tale, Farinloth. There's a temple in Uth, there's a temple in Trine, and there's a temple in Valenskir, which
Okay.
is a name that you recognise already from the research that you've
Yeah.
done in the top of the Trine Temple. I mean, make a religion check as you're reading it.
Come on. 15.
15. It's good. You get the sense that the elves in Valenskir are, like, in many ways, the authority of like Helm worship. They claim to have like the highest degree of understanding, but that I love Limdor's in chat, and he's been lighting it. It's on fire. Brilliant. The largest temple apart from that is in Uth, the capital of the Uthelian Empire. So Farin's Tale gets like a mention in passing, but not much more apart from that. So if you wanted to know more about Helm specifically, Valenskir is the place to go.
Is there anything sort of like anything about that have kind of moved away as such from Helm, but still worship Helm, but kind of like have different views?
Make a
Like kind of a bad group as such?
like a splinter away from Helm.
Yeah.
Make another investigation check.
Natural 20.
Okay,
Booyah.
here it goes.
Booyah.
Here it goes. Oh my goodness.
As he investigates, I'm gonna try to read the cover of this book.
Okay. This is what I get for not planning a session. I apologize.
Oh,
Please.
sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. Just bear with me, okay?
Don't tell us.
Cool. You understand. Yeah, you understand that from what you read, and as you kind of look around at the adjacent books, you find that there's a sect of, or not a sect, but there's a section on obviously other gods, and you find a book that's about the kind of feuds between the gods, the cataclysm, the sort of war between deities, and amidst that kind of fierce conflict, as you pick it up and you scroll through, you happen to fall onto a section that discusses Helm attempting to protect the sort of created, the individuals who the gods had created and wanted to protect. Helm is depicted almost as holding up a shield against a storm of lightning and of rain and of hail that's hammering against the shield, and that is the god of storms. And as you read further and you find another book there is what appears to be a history here of followers of the god of storms believing in the right of nature to destroy, to uproot, to create anew, and for that cycle to go on, the tempest swelling and of that kind of chaotic continual storm. It's diametrically opposed to Helm being the protector, the kind of keeper, the one who wants to protect that which is already established. So in that respect, during your research here in the library in Trinstone, you have found a complete polar opposite. Talos, the god of war, the god of storms. Sorry.
Talos, was that?
Talos.
I think I've heard of this guy. I mean, vaguely.
Oh, the storm.
In other places. My character hasn't.
Okay.
You know only of Loth. Speak of nothing else.
Well, I know...
It's a joke. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, okay. Ella is kind of super duper excited and slightly, freaking out.
Yeah.
Joe looks like he might have a headache.
But from reading too much?
No, he's trying to decipher the title of this book.
Oh!
Kyro, why don't you make an intelligence check with disadvantage?
I'm sure you can do it eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Disadvantage, okay. Ooh, it was worse the second time. What is it, general intelligence?
Yeah.
10.
10. You pick it up. By the time that Ella spends a few minutes kind of riffling through, books start flying around off the shelves as she goes from tome to tome to tome. And as soon as she's finished and she's made a link between this sort of opposed god and starts to think about whether or not that might be a connection to whatever happened in her temple, you've got Understanding Drow. That's the title. You've got it.
What's it called?
Understanding Drow.
Cool. I'll put the book back.
Does the irony dawn on you?
No, I don't. All I know is that I don't need to read this book, so I put it away.
I already know
everything
more than
in
this book does.
Yeah. It's great, thank God.
All
Put it
right.
back.
Very cool. Nice
Actually,
research
maybe I'll
session.
just keep it.
You're going to keep it with you?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe
I mean-
someday you can laugh at it.
No, I'm going to probably turn it into fire.
Oh.
Don't let Ella hear you say that.
What? I know everything in it. I don't need it.
But it's a book.
It's a book! You know about
Don't
books.
burn a book!
Okay, whatever. You can stop me when you see me do it.
All right.
It may never
Cool.
come up.
Cool. So, that's your research session. Does anybody else have any other business today?
I actually would like to get some
Brüz's shopping
trash.
trip eventually.
Oh, excuse me. I did forget about that. We'll do Brüz and then Eirys. Brüz, what would you like to...
You're
find.
with Brüz, right?
I am.
So
Okay.
Brüz is keen to look through the various shops of magical nature or trinkets and interesting things, just looking for curiosities.
You're looking
Okay.
for a pawn shop.
Yeah?
You're
pawn shop
looking
in a modern
for-
sense might be a place that Brüz would be interested in. So yeah, something like that.
You go to the general store that you've been to before. The guy behind the counter recognizes you, says, "Oh, welcome back again. I hope you're pleased by the wares I have. I'm afraid I don't have any more of those potions. Is there anything I can help you with, or
Well, I'm looking for, wondering perhaps if you don't have anything of this peculiarity yourself that you might know somebody else in town that does. But do you have any oddities, anything strange?
Make a persuasion check.
Perception?
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Persuasion, okay.
Yeah.
That is an 8.
An 8. He kind of scowls at you, like, because you're intimating that, like, you don't really want to shop here, and that's the message he gets. He's like, oh, well, clean me out for the one interesting thing that I have, and not satisfied by what I have to offer. That's fine. I understand. You might as well go to Old Cole's.
I don't mean to offend.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Old Cole is probably the old man you want to see. He sells gemstones out of his own house. Old coot.
Right. A coot, you say?
Not a literal coot. Not like the bird.
I'm gonna try to make him try to get on his good side. I guess, like try to be like, I'm sure Brüz meant no offense. You know.
Okay. Make
I'm
another.
Trying to use my persuasive.
Yeah. Go for another persuasion check then.
And that is a 7 plus my persuasion, which is a
7.
7.
14.
So 14.
14. He kind of like.
That's an okay roll.
You get the sense that his kind of bristly posture slightly kind of lessens. He doesn't smile or anything. He still looks a little bit put out, but he's like,
That's good enough.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, he's the one that you want to go to.
Yeah. So whereabouts is this old coot?
He's not literally. Never mind. If you head into the green in the middle of town, you turn right, go down the back street at the back end of town. It's along there. He's got a little sign outside. It's got a gemstone on it. It's nothing huge. He's just an independent operator. He retired. He doesn't have much to do, so the guard kind of turned a blind eye, even though it's not strictly legal.
And you said his name was Cole.
Yeah, Old Cole.
Like the burning material?
Cole. Cole.
Oh, Cole, right.
Yeah.
My apologies.
That's fine.
It's good to be specifics at times.
Yeah, it's good to buy things too.
I do appreciate that. I do also just quickly query. Do you have any woodworking supplies, like crafting tools that one might use out in the world?
He suddenly perks up. I might be able to pick something up like that. He kind of like the layout of his shop is that it's a big long kind of desk, and behind him are rows and rows of shelves and an open kind of build cupboards that are filled with trinkets and knickknacks and little odds and ends. Most of them are practical. You don't notice anything that really grabs your eye beyond just like tinkering equipment. So as soon as you mention something like that, he's all about it. He procures like crafting knives. He procures whittling tools, not dissimilar to what Wilf had. He procures what appear to be like mini pickaxes designed for like the working of fine stones, maybe even for gem cutting. So all manner of sort of practical effects. And then the larger pieces start coming out onto the table, like, pickaxes that weigh many, many kilograms. He starts to get a little bit carried away.
Right. No, smaller items. I'm not as strong a man as I once was. I suppose I was never a man. I'm not as strong a tiefling as I once was.
Right. Well, here's your lot. I'd be able to get you some basic woodworking tools for, basic carpentry, like this small hatchet, this whittle, this scoring tool for carving, these knives.
The carving one, that sounds interesting. The whittling and the scribing.
Right. Well, okay. If you wanted to do inscriptions for, you know, maybe printing or something like that. These
carving in wood.
Okay. He procures like a yeah, sort of like a sort of chipping sort of knife that's kind of wide rimmed, and it's got like a large end that's designed to be struck by a hammer, so that you can carve out sections of wood from larger pieces, and then a small set of carving knives. For this entire set, I'll happily give that to you for they are fine. Say he says as he reaches for this player handbook. Woodworking tools. He knows roughly where to find them in the book. Does that make it better? Because there are officially...
resisting the urge to reach for my handbooks.
No, please do, because that really does help me. Like I'm not averse to that kind of thing.
Assistant.
Wood carver's tools. 1 gold piece. 1 gold piece.
1 gold piece.
That's not too bad.
Fabulous. So a gold one, yes. And he sort of reaches into his cloak, into a pocket, and fishes around and pulls out 2 gold pieces.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out someone in the chat said, "Excellent, you'll be able to engrave your own tombstones."
What a lad. We're here every 2 weeks, dude. You are more than welcome.
And Brüz grabs the 2 gold coins and goes, I hope that's enough. And he puts them down on the counter.
That's exactly perfect. Thank you. He picks them up.
Good day. Thank you so much for your assistance. I'll go and visit this old coal.
All right.
And Brüz nods and turns and sort of heads out with a little bit of speed in his gait, because he's
before
he's
we
ever
head
so
out.
curious.
Sorry. Before we head out, Joril
Oh.
would like to real quick ask. He's been thinking a while about whether he should ask for things for for dogs or things for kids, but I mean,
Why
like
not both?
he's got a bunch of gnolls following him
They're
everywhere,
dogs.
so I think the shopkeeper can tell what his situation is. So he's just like, hi, I've recently adopted these. Do you know where I might get supplies?
Huh. You know, like harnesses and stuff. I think the stable might be able to makeshift some stuff for you. It's just a couple of doors down from here.
Okay, thank you.
You turn right out of here. It's just a couple of doors down.
Thank you so much.
All right.
So, and then I go with Brüz.
Sure. Brüz and Joril head towards Old Coals. Eirys, what were you doing?
Hello. I just wanted to pick up some rations, please.
Okay. It's 5 silver pieces per day's worth. How many days do you want?
How many days do they have? I know they're limited.
In the few days they've been able to like pick up some stuff. You get the sense that like when Caleb said that the Empire had got in contact with them, it feels like their coffers has been like resupplied and stuff. That they've called for help and there's been a quick response. So
That's good.
there'll be. I mean, name how
Finally, the
name how
Empire's
many
doing
days you'd
something
like,
useful.
and then we'll figure it out.
10?
10 is good.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah.
that's 50?
Cool.
Did you say 5? No.
5 silver pieces each, so it'll be
Oh, silver. What-
yeah.
that's gold.
It's 5 silver per day's worth of rations, I believe.
That's 50 silver.
5 gold.
5 gold.
I thought
5
rations were
gold.
2 silver.
5 gold. Rations 1 day, 5 silver pieces.
Remove,
wow.
And then that's
Yeah.
10 rations. Okay, cool. And then I'll just...
All right. Brüz, Joril, you go to the green, and you can already see in yeah, it's like a little green in the middle of town. I say a green. There are a few tufts of sort of dry grass amidst the kind of like pebble strewn, dusty sort of clearing in the middle of town. and there's a scuff of children's feet marks as they've been running and playing. And as you walk, a couple of them run past with a makeshift ball out of something that's been blown up, maybe a bladder of some kind. And as you look past them as they run, there's a number of guard currently working on erecting a stage.
Setting a stage.
Yeah, there's
Is that
some kind of
for
erection.
us?
From what you guys can figure, maybe. A couple of the guards look at
Brüz-
you and wave, just in greeting.
As Brüz is sort of looking for the back street that the shopkeeper had mentioned, he's just sort of looking around for that spot.
Yeah, easy enough to find.
And as he's moving over the green, he's just going to sort of drag his hooves through some of the grassier parts.
Yeah.
Just sort of like clean his feet off, clean his hooves off a bit, and then heads down the back lane.
All right. You guys head down, and a few doors down, maybe a few minutes on the left-hand side, there's the sign that you recognize as per the shopkeeper's description.
Okay, and so Brüz turns to Joril and says,
Maybe if we just keep the pups out here for the moment, and
Okay,
investigate to
I'll-
see how
I'll
much space there is inside.
maybe try to play with them, get some of their energy out.
Okay.
Well,
Make-
once I'm finished, we'll take them back to the green and let them walk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
They need to run and play. They're kids after all.
Or would you like? No, it's probably best you stay here for now.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
As Brüz heads inside, Joril, make an animal handling check.
Yes.
I wonder when these will turn into people checks.
12.
12. Yeah. For the duration of Brüz's like peep into this makeshift shop, you are continually running after pups one at a time that are breaking away, and it's awkward. And you manage to keep track of them. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Gonna see if you get a
Oh, I crit.
You crit. No
Your
point of
balls.
exhaustion for you. You nail it. Your energy matches the gnolls, but you spend basically all of the time that Brüz is inside, and maybe a bit more, chasing after gnolls that are continually escaping and yanking the leads out of your hands.
You probably feel refreshed and rejuvenated after all that jogging.
Brüz,
I'm ready to take on the world. I'm proud of myself.
Brüz, you kind of knock on the door, and it opens up, and there's it's a human male, but he's got a monster hunchback and a balding head and real sunken eyes. It's very, very dark in the room behind him, and he looks up and he goes,
Good day, sir. I've been told by the young fellow in one of the shops that you are the man to see about the peculiar and the interesting.
He kind of turns around, hobbles inside, and he beckons for you to come in.
Brüz is.
I immediately love him.
So Brüz follows in, nodding and in agreement.
Yes, yes.
He's like just he's pointing around the room at various things that are hung on the walls. It's pretty dark. Your dark vision can get there, but you're aware of how dark it is. And there is a variety of knickknacks on the walls, and there's a variety of small kind of glass cabinets around. You get the feeling like it's just it's a lounge. It's just like a front room of a home that for which
like his collection.
it would appear how he's like indicating at everything that it's all potentially for sale. You see that there's an interesting sort of knife/dagger that's hung on the wall in 2 clasps. There's a variety of gemstones, one of which appears to be glowing, and it's a kind of it's a round shape, and yeah, he kind of like hobbles into the kitchen. He doesn't even pay attention to where you are. He goes,
Oh, I'd love. Yes, thank you.
and he comes in with a tray with a couple of mugs on it. Each of them are steaming.
No, that no milk. That's fine. What? If I may ask you, what is your favorite piece?
He kind of like shuffles over to the knife that's mounted on the wall.
Oh, I see. Do you have that written down somewhere? Do you keep some of these stories like tomed and documented? No.
He's looking a little bit consternated, and he's like indicating as if like make an insight check.
The disadvantage, perhaps. You can call that an un-20.
An un-20. As you're talking to him and he's indicating, you get the sense that he's saying, "Why would I write anything down? I can tell you everything you need to know."
And Brüz is nodding, aware of that, but he's trying to think of how he's going to try to explain all of this to anybody else in his language.
I don't know if I can pronounce it that way.
Do I get any vibe from the knife? Like, did he pick it up? Did he just hold it?
He's indicating to it on the wall.
Brüz,
Yeah.
May I take a look? Is it safe to touch?
He just reaches up, takes it off the wall, hands it over to you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sort of try and like figure out if it's of anything more than just aesthetic interest.
I mean, it's made of a kind of blackish metal. It's moderately long, maybe 7-8 inches. It's been kept very clean. There's actually, as you look at it, there's a line of oil that congeals on the outer edge of the blade and runs down. Whoever this old guy is, he's obviously eccentric, but he obviously likes his eclectic mix of things. It's not of any design. Make a history check.
Okay.
Maybe you've seen something like it somewhere.
I'm just going to say I've got a pretty good history bonus of +6.
Yeah.
So that's 26.
Ooh.
Holy crap!
And that's 20.
You recognize this.
You got a history roll.
To be honest, like it's you can't believe you didn't realize this until you hold it in your hand. As the oil runs down the edge of the blade, you follow it with your finger. It draws blood. This
Is it Vorpal?
is similar to the blade that Kyro uses.
Oh.
In fact, very similar.
Is it its brother?
Almost as if it belongs to the same family.
How long have you had this?
He's going to make a history check.
Oh, right. And you're willing to part with it for the right trade?
Brüz is sort of like is sort of trying to quickly think for a moment as to whether or not he's got anything of curious interest that he might be able to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh no, I gave those beans to the Eirys Rud. No. I don't have that anymore.
And the guy kind of indicates to you had a pendant when we first met you. It was rescued, wasn't it? Is it worn around your neck by any chance?
Yeah.
He kind of indicates towards it.
This was Mother's. It is the only thing I have left of her since her passing many cycles ago.
He kind of raises his hands apologetically.
Only witches want useless sentimental things.
Does he want to hold it? Brüz takes it off and sort of like offers it to him to sort of to look at and hold on to the blade for the time being.
Sure. He the old man takes it. He kind of like traces the pattern with his finger. He kind of looks up at you and makes eye contact.
It's beautiful.
What?
Yes, it was Mother's favorite piece. It was her connection to Palor that gave her healing skills that she taught me.
Kind of nods and hands it back to you.
Thank you.
And he kind of cocks his head, looks at you, grabs a scrap of paper from the side, and hands it to you. It says 500 GP.
Oh. 500, you say? What? Yes, well, yes, you do make a good point. Perhaps you would take, perhaps you should take, can I offer you 300 gold pieces?
Squints his eyes.
A barter, huh?
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion, you say?
Yeah.
It's a haggle check.
That's a 17 plus 3.
Ooh,
20.
That's a
For my
20.
persuasion.
He picks
For
up
an 20.
the piece of paper,
He'll take it down to 3.
and he has an inkwell in his hand that he's been using to write with. He scores out the 500, turns the piece of paper around. It's only a little slip, and writes 400 GP on it.
That's not bad. It's pretty good.
Brüz turns back to him and says, "I would think that it would be very good if you could give it to me at a better price." And cast suggestion.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Ooh.
Is it a wisdom save?
I gotta go.
I'm just double check my book here.
You won't be welcome here anymore if you do that.
This is a good thing about suggestion, is it's not known if it fails. It just sounds like somebody. It sounds like a strange old man asking a really strange thing.
That's true.
Basically the Jedi mind
You're
trick.
making. You're doing a mind trick.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So wisdom saving throw. Bruises save. Spell.
Okay, we can talk later.
It'd be 15 for a wisdom save.
Wisdom save of 15. Ooh, he rolled a 16 minus 1. He just makes it. He resists. He kind of like he kind of glances at he's glaring at you with narrowed eyes. You kind of start saying. He kind of he holds the knife in his left hand and kind of brandishes it wildly, pointing at it with his right finger. He goes. He seems a little bit aggravated. He seems to be trying to convey to you that it's genuinely rare. You know.
Brüz stands up a little straighter, not to full height, just a little straighter, and smiles and lets out a laugh. So, no, that's perfectly fine. No harm in asking, as Mother used to say. And he reaches back into his cloak and he starts pulling out gold pieces. So he counts them. Like,
yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. How many? 400, right? Keeps counting. You let me know when I need to stop. I think I've lost count. Start again. I need to start again.
Meanwhile, Joril is outside wrestling the gnoll pups.
And he's keeping up, and he's like, I could do this all day.
Hashtag Undyne. Happy birthday,
I
Undertale.
feel like you tired them out, which is
Yeah, I did channel a bit of Undyne there for a second.
Yeah. Amazing.
So
Yeah.
Brüz wants to pull out about 350 worth of gold,
Mm-hmm.
and like put it onto the counter.
Yeah.
And go. Thank you so much for showing me your collection. This is marvelous, and I will look forward to coming back and seeing what else you might find.
I'm confused. Are you trying to pass off that the 350 is 400?
Yes.
Make a deception check.
That's sleight of hand.
It's deception because
Yeah,
he's kind of lying as he counts it. I'll tell you what. No.
Find out
No.
later. Why are you
That's
doing
a
this?
good point. No, you make a good point, Megan. You can choose, Brüz. Do you want to do a deception check or a sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand.
All right then.
Which was an
Depends on how you're
18
tricking.
on the roll, -1.
Oh, 17. He's gonna roll perception. He kind of looks at the pile of gold that you've gently produced. He's been getting increasingly consternated and impatient. And when you say that you kind of slide across this massive pile of gold, he kind of nods in agreement and just kind of takes it and hands you the dagger.
Good man. I'll see you around. And Brüz turns tail and heads out to Joril.
Yep.
And stashes the blade away in his cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of head back to Joril, the pups, and head off towards the green again, perhaps.
Okay. And I'll guess you guys spend a bit of time sort of playing in there.
Walking.
That's fine. And I say, Joril, that con save, you're just bounding full of energy, and you actually do end up tiring the pups out. I'll say because you're running after them, and in the end, these are gnoll babies. You take an additional 3 hit points of nip damage as you're like grabbing them, and the bigger ones kind of fight you on it, and you'll be okay, but just a little bit of nips.
I
20
probably
con.
need some first aid later, but
Need first aid now. Don't
okay.
put things off.
He's bleeding.
Brüz will walk over, and he's going to cast Goodberry, and
Okay.
and hands 3 of them to Joril.
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh, thanks.
What are these?
What are they? They look delicious."
They're berries. Eat
I-
a bit. They're marvelous.
Okay. And he tries one, and it's like, "Oh, dang, they are."
They are you feel like completely replete, like your body feels fully nourished. It's strange because it tastes okay. It tastes kind of like a wild berry, but it's sustaining in a way that's far beyond what it should be. Yeah. So you guys, does anybody else? I mean, we'll say that amidst the kind of pieces of business here and there and around, Joril, I'll say that you're able to pick up harnesses that are a little bit more stronger. They're made more for purpose, intended for dogs from the stables, for a specific order. They get that done for you in a few hours for, let's say, 1 gold piece for everything.
Okay. What have I got? Let me check my purse.
I have a question for Ella when it's a
I've got 20. It's just 7 gold pieces.
Okay, so you guys do have all day. You meet up in the tavern.
Yeah.
Evening is beginning to come. Kyro, Ella.
Well, I was gonna ask her while we're on our way to wherever we're going.
Okay, sure. Go for it.
So what kind of stuff were you reading?
Oh. Well, it was about Helm. The god dude that I kind of follow.
Oh.
Well,
What's that all about?
my fam, like, I come from a family. So I was kind of brought up as, to follow him. So, just a bit of research, really. Yeah, I'm onto something, I think. I don't know. I need to do more research. I need to go to places. So
Okay.
if you ever see a library, let me know. Or if you see a book, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you find the what were you reading? What was it? Oh yeah, How to Understand Drow. What was that? Was that entertaining for you to read?
I didn't really read it. I already know about Drow.
Fair enough. Cool.
I feel like if I didn't understand Drow, I would probably be dead.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. So, how is Joril doing with the little gnoll babies?
Well, they're not dead, so good. I assume. We'll see.
That's a good point.
I mean, it's only been, 2 days?
Yeah.
Most things can survive 2 days.
Eirys wasn't that happy that we didn't get the gnoll babies alive.
She wanted to kill him?
What do you mean she wasn't happy?
Oh.
Well, oh, hey, Brüz! Hey, didn't see that.
We ran into
I was-
Brüz.
Hi.
Oh,
Oh,
hey.
hey! It's a
Yeah,
little party.
You guys
Joel,
have
how are you doing?
touched base in
Pretty
the
good,
squad.
all things considered. I had some really good berries. My kids are sort of tuckered out now because I was chasing them around all day. But I feel
Berries,
fine.
elaborate.
Yeah. Brüz gave me some tasty berries that made me feel like really full immediately.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is anybody hungry?
Sure.
Oh,
It-
I'll take some berries.
it's
Like
just
I
a-
feel
it's
like
just
I
a
don't need
single-
to eat like all day, and I'd be fine.
It puts a single one in each of their hands. It's sort of like one to Kyro, one to Ella, and so he pops one in himself. Not that you need to do. Yes.
I do eat it.
So if you had lost any hit points, you would have gained one back in the process.
Cool.
But instead, you just feel fed.
That's good.
no more eating for the rest of the day.
Well,
Nice.
Only if you want to,
there's
not
room for
because you
drink.
have to.
Anyway, I guess you're in the green. The tavern is not far away from where you guys currently are. You remember the Aberrant Eye, run by Trent, who is the silver-scaled dragonborn barkeep.
Before we get to the tavern, I want
Yep.
to speak to Eirys.
Yeah, you guys are pretty
I haven't
much on
seen
your own.
Eirys yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were away up the top from it,
Yeah.
so I'd wait for her to finish the shopping bits that she's doing.
Which she's done. I believe.
Nobody sees Eirys till she's ready to be seen.
Yeah.
Oh crap! Perception check.
-5.
It was a 19.
That's not -5 at all.
Oh,
Actually, it'd be a dirty 20. It's a +2 and a +1. Anyway. Eirys. Other than the destroying the whole syndicate thing, is there anything in this world that would make you happy?
Why do you ask?
I'm curious.
Insight check.
Brother.
Suspicious question out of nowhere. 19.
19.
19.
He wants to find out what makes you happy. So he can hold it hostage.
Yeah, he's trying to find my weaknesses.
You trying to hide anything, Yao?
I'm trying to hide the
Your true
motive
intention.
behind it.
I guess that would require a deception check because the
exactly
fact
what
you're trying to hide
Yes.
something. Like if you're trying to hide anything, it requires a deception check.
Yeah.
If it's something that you don't
Like-
want Eirys to know.
When you insight, you ask if it's for motive or lies or whatever they're trying to suss out, and then if they're trying to hide something about that, it's a deception roll.
The answer is I'm trying to out charisma a bard, which is just
Down to go well.
You're very
What was
wise.
your insight? Because I rolled a natural 13 plus my deception modifier.
I rolled a natural 13, but it became a 19.
Wow.
Mine becomes a dirty 20.
Hold on. I've got
Whoa.
something if I'm trying to find out if someone's lying.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa.
Hiding
Yes.
I've-
Yes,
Hold on,
I remember
bear
that.
with, bear with.
I don't think he's lying though.
Or hiding something. I
Yeah,
it's called eye for deceit.
I'm not lying, I'm hiding.
Ah. So at the very least, you could tell.
I treat a 7 or lower on a d20 as an 8, but I rolled a 13. So it's
Okay, so
Ah.
I'll
you
find
you're
the-
just at you feel like you've got him sussed, and then he just changes his like posture, and you lose the read.
He's probably just curious.
Well, firstly, taking down the syndicate is not what would make me happy.
No?
Staying well away from them is what I want.
Well, okay. Not being involved with the syndicate anymore, if they were to, disappear completely off the map, I assume that'd be the same effect as staying away from them.
That'd be satisfactory, yes.
But
Being alive makes me happy.
Wow, that's a big one.
we've been over this. I've probably shown you. You're not really
No,
alive,
it does
though.
not make me happy.
It's very poetic of you. What makes you happy? Difficult.
Put him on
on
the spot.
like
Hard
that.
question, isn't it?
I'm deciding if I want to tell the truth or lie. That's the thing. I'm gonna flip a coin.
Oh snap!
Whoa.
He's rolling a
You,
d2.
you know whatever
am.
whatever it
It's
results,
D2
put it
time.
on inside.
I actually have a D2. So 2,
Convenient.
I'm gonna lie. 1, I'm gonna tell the truth. It was a 1.
You shouldn't have told me, because now I'll know.
Oh shit! Yeah. Whoops.
Do it again, but don't
Or
tell me.
did he?
Yep. I'll flip the coin again.
Don't tell me.
Because, well, what makes me happy is making other people happy.
But
I've been through a lot. Sometimes people deserve a break.
what's in it for you?
Well, not much other than seeing a smile on their face.
Why is that worth anything to you? I can make people frown, but I don't. It's people do facial expressions. I don't gain from it.
It's hard to explain. There's a reason, but smiles are a thing I like to collect, as it were.
You don't like cut off people's faces or something really sadistic.
Look, I know I do some weird shit in combat, but no,
I wouldn't put it past you, Yale.
That's fair. I can't argue that one, but no, seeing people's smiles and them being happy keeps me going.
Hope makes me happy.
Hope.
Having hope.
Poetic
Wow.
yourself.
Hope in life make her happy.
Hope. It's good to know. I think everybody could do with a bit of hope every now and then.
Seems to be in short supply these days.
Say that again. Especially with the Empire. I'm sorry, what?
Is that why you like Ella so much?
Yeah. She brings a lot of hope.
I meant smiling, but
Oh, yeah, that definitely helps a lot.
I'm pretty sure at some point, but like the wind changed and her face was just stuck like that.
Now, I know you don't know much freaky magic shit.
Do you think,
For that to
do you think
happen.
that's what it is? Do you think someone cast a spell on her and made her smile all the time? Do you think she actually doesn't want to smile?
Can I roll an Arcana check to see if I know about a wand of smiles?
Yes, you can.
And also-
Natural 18 plus 3, so 21.
I don't
Oh,
wanna
your
really
life
argue.
as a bard. You've come across a wand of smiles
My
before.
name is me.
I also want to insight check
Flowers.
Yell's answer, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh,
Go for it. Yeah, please do.
That was a better one.
which bit of my answer?
Hold on. When you said that, gauging your honesty when you said that smiling makes you happy and kind of the reasoning behind it, and also trying to tell if you were hiding anything else, like, you know, diverting my attention to this thing. But
Okay.
I
I'll
got-
roll another deception then.
oh, sorry.
I was hiding something else.
Yeah, I think Yell's the
no.
rogue who was hiding. Okay, I got 23.
Yeah, that does it.
I
I got
laughed
7
out
plus
loud.
7 is 14.
Yeah, Eirys, Yell is hiding from you something.
So the answer itself is truthful, but there's not the whole thing there.
It's
Yeah.
a half truth, like
Yes.
this thing, but not something else.
Yeah, it's like I'm omitting parts of the answer that
Mike.
I don't want to say right now.
My response would have been the same still. I just wanted to
I'm having
Okay.
a good day so far.
With my Arcana check, I would know. So, yeah, it is possible to force someone to smile with magic. I've seen it
Yeah.
before. Yes.
I think she's in trouble.
You know what? When we all meet up again, we can ask her.
I mean, what if that magic makes her pretend like she's happy and fine?
Then that is counterproductive to her being happy, and therefore we should find out and make sure she gets happy. Or I could do that, you don't have to worry that much.
Well, at least it makes you happy, right? Seeing her smile all the time, even if she's actually terrified or suffering.
That's not the same as happiness.
But you said smiles, not happiness.
Smiles from happiness.
Maybe someone's happy that they made... You know what? This is a stupid conversation. Let's go to the tavern.
The sun is beginning to get low in the sky as the party heads into the Aberrant Eye. I didn't mean to rhyme, but it happened. You guys all touch base. It's 6 silver pieces to stay for a night, and each plate of food is also 1 silver piece each. Ale on sale for 3 copper pieces a tankard. Eat and drink to your heart's content.
This covers his entire body.
The moment either I walk
This is
in
just
and
a
see
guide.
them, or the moment they walk in, if I'm already there,
Mhm.
I say, Joril, you owe us 1,000 gold.
How so?
We wanted to kill the gnolls, or were undecided. You wanted to keep the gnolls, which cost us all 1,000 gold.
No, you decided not to kill the gnolls when he said he didn't want to.
Oh, I wanted to kill the gnolls.
Sure you want to, but you didn't.
Not yet.
Okay.
And he just stares back and is like, if you try to kill the gnolls, I will defend them.
Okay.
I'll probably also defend them.
Okay.
Hey, no one,
Why do
no
you
one.
need to kill the gnoll pups?
We don't have to kill them.
Well, you do if you want 1,000 gold.
Guys, seriously, this is tension.
He
should be.
he is like trying to call the gnolls back closer to
Jared
him.
seems unconcerned.
And he's also not keeping his eyes off of Eirys now.
Hey, guys, just try and relax, okay? Like, we got plenty of gold out of the job, and besides, we didn't do it for the gold. We did it to protect the town.
She just said that she was gonna kill all my kids.
I mean,
I never said I was going to.
Well, you insinuated.
And if we're not going to kill them, then no gold is owed to anybody.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought you the type to kill a bunch of kids for the money.
I mean, it was my suggestion in the cave that we killed them. I was on team kill the gnoll puppies. Literally, in front of all of you.
Well,
That is very true.
that is true. I remember that too.
you
I
didn't
was
try
also on
very
the team.
hard to make it happen, though.
I thought it was down to a vote.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I just saw Joril and Brüz start picking them up, and I just kind of left them to do it. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I don't feel comfortable with killing them now. I mean,
These
Eirys,
pups
they're
are no danger. Not
exactly.
unless we make them dangerous.
Or they grow up into gnolls.
But they're not going to do that now, are they?
Bruce
not going to grow up
stands
into
up
ponies.
straight, and sort of steps over to Eirys and says, "So are you to tell me that just because I am purple-skinned and horned, that I'm always to be some kind of devil?
I mean, you are demon folk, yes. But
But am I not polite?
demons can be polite.
And so can gnolls, I bet. Maybe. Well,
And
I'm not
elves
gonna
can be
take that
horrible creatures."
And I was brought up in a place where I very well could have grown up to be a murderer or something. I'm sure that my mother would have been a lot more proud of me if I'd grown up to be some kind of like heartless killer. I'd have been useful to her then.
You know, I've never met a drow that hasn't.
But I didn't,
killed him.
because I didn't want to, and I decided that. And it had nothing to do with what I am, you know? Because that's not what makes me myself, you know? And they haven't even had a chance to decide what they're going to be yet.
Can
And
even
people
decide?
are already deciding that they're going to be something terrible. And I don't think that's fair.
That's not fair at all.
Do gnolls have sentience, or do they rely on instinct?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they talk to each other, so.
Make a nature check,
I mean,
yeah.
anything talks to anything.
Yeah, make a nature check.
Oh God. 19.
From what you could tell, the gnolls, although they were incredibly brutal and, barbaric in nature, they did have a mode of communication. They did recognize when Brüz describes himself as one of them, they approached and they attempted some form of communication. They appeared to have some grasp of language.
They seemed to mourn when we killed their leader.
That is true.
You know who else communicates with each other and is intelligent?
Wolves.
Dragons.
Yeah,
Oh,
are they people?
Dragons are.
Well,
Those
if they had
kobolds
been
we
a
all
bunch of
killed.
dragons, I would have felt the same.
I think wolves are people too, right? Isn't the one we met? We made a deal with them or something?
That's right, I remember that.
Yes, there was that friendly
Yeah.
wolf, yes.
it was beneficial, I would just as easily have killed him.
Yeah, I mean, it's beneficial for these gnolls to, like, not kill us as long as we're, you know, making
Is
sure
it
that
though?
people don't
Because
kill
they've
them.
already cost us 1,000 gold and have not yet benefited us in any way.
I don't know how to explain to you that it's good to be nice to people.
I mean, if you want, we can start charging you for our services. I didn't know you were our employer.
I have no issue with you, Kyro.
Anyway, I have no intention of paying you back if that's what you're trying to get out of me.
Noted.
I haven't stolen from you, and neither have they.
The gnoll pups are all starting to snuggle up next to the fire. They lie down, exhausted from the running around that Joril gave them earlier on in the day.
I'm going to go check on them. He says, because he's gotten angry enough that he doesn't want to keep talking to Eirys and get angrier, you know?
Sure.
Well, that was awkward. I'm gonna go.
Drama.
Yeah. Ella, do you want to do it?
I'm a player, I'm not angry. I think this is great.
No, it's awesome. Well done. This is well played. You're doing fantastically.
Jojorawr loves gnoll puppies.
Yeah.
Eirys does not. Arthrin will go after everybody else.
I was going to say, Brüz is going to find the most comfortable chair in the room and move it over in amongst the where the sleeping puppies are by the fire.
Yeah.
And just sit down with them.
You should put your feet on them.
The small one that you were carrying earlier snuggles into your lap as you kind of pick it up. It looks up. It recognizes you. It kind of yaps happily as you pick it up and lower it down to your lap.
Person in the chat suggested that I send them to the nice old lady up the street who makes fur coats, and that is terrible. Shame.
For shame.
Oh, shame on you, sir.
Arthrin's gonna edge up to Eirys. You know, if a group of people like us can't believe in second chances, then who can?
It's not about second chances, Arthrin. It's about one person's vote winning, costing the rest of the group, and that being okay. None of us wanted to keep them as pets, but Joril.
Arthrin gets up. I'm going to get another ale. Hasn't cost me a penny. Anyway, cool. Does anyone else have any other business as night draws on? Actually, as Eirys, you've got a high passive perception, right? As Arthrin moves across to the bar after he talks to you, he kind of glances to his right and does a double take. He strides over to one of the booths. There's a group of dwarves there. You see him exchange a few words with them. The dwarves go from looking a little bit cocky, and then as Arthrin approaches, their eyes widen, and their postures sort of weaken a little bit. They kind of fold a little bit on themselves. Arthrin grins and turns back towards the bar.
Did I hear anything?
Make a perception check.
Okay, 23.
You heard him come up. You heard the whole thing.
Okay.
That's right. His own mother saw him. Hello, gentlemen. Oh, it's you. You're that, human boy from the, few weeks ago. I remember you. That's right. You enjoying my stool? I thought we established that it was ours. You know what? It's yours. You can keep it. I'm happier without it. Although, if you reach under the stool, he does so. He realizes that there's a kind of crack underneath his chair, and you watch as he reaches underneath. He kind of does a double take, puts his hand around something. You can keep it. Have a good night. He turns around and walks away.
Hmm?
You watch as the dwarf kind of draws out a small pouch, looks inside, looks after Arthrin. His friends look confused and a little bit kind of intimidated. Arthrin comes back in a few minutes with a couple more ales. He's bought 3 or 4. He just plays them on. Free for all, whoever wants them.
Looks around.
Cool.
How many people are in this bar?
It's the group of
Besides us.
dwarves. It's yourself. It's probably about 20 or so other people. It's fairly busy. It's a lot of miners. It's a lot of folk. There's a lot of excited talk, and actually, you guys are drawing a lot of glances. No one's
Okay,
kind
I'm
of
not drinking.
Okay. None of you are approached by anybody, but you're clearly being recognized.
I want to leave.
I mean, okay, you can do if you want.
Mhm.
Brüz, whilst we're all sitting quietly, Brüz just wants to call Kyro over.
Okay.
Whilst in my head. Kyro, you have an interesting sword, yes?
Yeah, I have multiple interesting swords. Why?
He goes, I believe I have an interesting sword like that. Would you like to see
Oh.
it?
Sure.
And Brüz sort of like ruffles in behind his cloak and draws out the blade that he'd purchased earlier.
Yeah, it's more of a dagger than a sword. Yours, but
Dagger,
Kyro.
sorry.
Yeah.
Is it a short sword?
No, it's a dagger. You immediately recognize it as being a very similar sort of type of metal and sort of forging design and process as your dragon, kind of the blade that you have that does extra damage to dragons.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah, looks like a dagger.
Yep.
Yes, but it's much. It looks a lot like your one.
Yeah.
Are they a set? Do you know if it has any tricks?
Well, I found the short sword on a skeleton, so it's possible that there are other people who died and lost their swords. Sure.
That's a very literal understanding of the question I asked. Yes. May I ask if you know if your sword has any properties beyond its physical? Swording properties.
Oh yeah, it's magic.
Yes. I thought so. Perhaps this as well.
Well, yeah, I would assume so. I mean, I look at it, does it look like it could be magic?
Make a perception check.
Okay. I got a 6.
I mean, the only thing that you can really tell for sure is that it's a very, very similar design and metal to
Yeah, it
your
could be
sword.
magic.
Oh, so you're not actually familiar to which its design had been created.
Oh hell no! I got this off a dead guy. Remember?
You remember that you got it from a chest in the same cave system where you fought the dragon wormling at the top of the mountain.
Oh, I thought it was on that dragon hunter guy's corpse.
I don't
Got some other
recall
stuff out
you
of a chest.
picking this up. You had this.
Oh,
when I
this
got
was before we met you. Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was before you met Brüz.
I imagine you did quite a number of things before you met me.
It's true.
Right. Well,
And I've done
and
quite a
Brüz
number
takes
after.
Dagger,
Yep.
takes the dagger and puts it back away in his cloak for now.
If I had to guess,
I
it
think we should
probably.
find out more about these blades. They seem
Sure.
very interesting.
I hear Ella intake of breath.
Is that an audible audible gasp that we can hear?
Yes.
What
DM
about Ella?
DM override. Yes.
Yeah.
Brüz would have happily gone, "Oh, Ella, come here. I want to show you something."
He's got a fancy knife.
Yep.
And Brüz does the same thing. He pulls the dagger out and goes, I acquired this dagger, and it's much like Kyro's sword.
That's so cool. Where did you get that from?
Oh, I met a strange mumbling man in a back street by the green.
Yeah, it's probably magical.
Cool.
That's what it's a shame you don't know anybody who can who knows how to figure these things out.
I'm very able to help.
Oh,
Wait, so do you not identify too, Ella?
Well, I kind of picked up a few things from Nihilus, and
That was the guy who identified the sword. Yeah,
Mhm.
she probably knows how to do it.
I can do several things for you. I mean, if you like 10 to 20 minutes, I can either detect if they're magical, or I can detect they're magical, and I can then identify them, or I can just identify them for you. What would you like?
These are 10 minutes each time.
Yes.
All right, well, let's go with the identifying it first.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Brüz happily hands the dagger over to Ella.
Yeah.
And sits silently in awe of whatever it is that Ella does to
Yeah.
retrieve this
For 10
information from the
minutes.
ether.
Yeah. You
Brüz sits silently for 10 minutes watching Ella.
Well, where'd Yell go?
Oh no, I'm still here. It's more I'm jealous because I've barely had any gold ever, so I haven't been able to get 100 gold piece worth of power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? Do you have 100? Do you have a pearl that's worth 100 gold pieces, Ella?
Yeah, I thought Nihilus gave me everything.
Oh,
You
okay.
said that Nihilus gave me everything.
Yeah. I'll say for the sake of this, because honestly, I don't want to deny this. You
Yeah,
really.
at least one.
Yeah,
Um.
it doesn't get consumed, so you just need the one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I'll see.
Also means I can swap out identify on next level up. That's Ella.
Yeah.
She's a wizard.
You watch as Ella pulls out a gemstone that Nihilus has gifted her for doing so well on her lessons, and
Hello, fella.
yeah, and she opens up her spell book. She sits cross-legged. She places.
Wiggle my bum, get comfy.
Stick out the tongue. You place the dagger on the ground in front of you, and after a few minutes, an arcane sigil begins glowing on the ground underneath where the dagger is rested. Be individual tiny balls of light like fireflies start drifting up and fading as the magical energies begin to take over, and identify it as a double kind of effect weapon. It is a +1 dagger, but it is capable of dealing +3 damage against draconic enemies.
Wow.
That is how you identify Ella. Yeah.
This is a cool dagger you got here, Brüz. And she hands it back.
Really? And what is it good for?
Stabbing things. It's quite a powerful dagger. It does some damage.
Oh, marvelous.
One would hope.
Especially to draconic things.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I see.
Yeah, that's what my sword does, so makes sense.
Hi.
Okay.
Brüz asks Kyro, may I look at your sword for a moment?
Sure. You take it out and hands it to you.
Brüz wants to take it, and he just wants to like compare the two very closely to each other, like if they might possibly like connect into each other to form like a Voltron sword.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
When you do it, it lights on fire. That'd be great.
Okay, so you said investigation, didn't you?
Or something.
Investigation is +3, so it's 21.
21.
Yeah, 18 +3.
You kind of move around with it, and it doesn't really seem like they fit together, but the more that you kind of move them around each other, the dagger rests on top of the sword like almost perfectly. It's if you feel like they might like be designed to rest perhaps in the same hilt, for sure. But there's no way to directly attach these two weapons together.
Right, so if they found the right hilt,
You
might take both the sword and the dagger.
with that investigation check being so strong, I would say that you confirm to yourself that these are two pieces of kit that have been produced specifically to be paired in the same sort of hilt, or maybe even like a belt configuration. So there's a
custom scabbard.
There's a uniformity to it, which would imply that a scabbard
made together.
either used to exist for it, or it's possible for a leathersmith or a blacksmith that knew what they were doing to maybe redesign it.
Brüz sort of quietly explains that thought process to Kyro, and says, perhaps in the morning we can go and see if the leather worker in town might make something, and then you can have both.
Really?
Well, that would be a set then.
Yeah, okay.
Be quite handy.
I mean, I don't necessarily need a fancy sheath for it. I can just stick it in my boot, but yeah.
Oh, well, if you're not.
I mean,
keen
if you
have
want
them,
to, I'm not gonna stop you.
Ella
we can
leans
have
in.
it. We can have a look. No harm in asking.
Yeah, sure. Are we staying here then for more than a day?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, we should
I
probably
mean,
let the others know.
this
about
chair
the-
is very comfortable.
Probably pass on the information to the rest of the party that are outside town about
Say-
how we're staying for a little bit.
What's
Oh.
that?
Yeah.
What was that, yo? There's something you wanted to say?
Yeah, we are going to be staying for a little bit. And then there's something about a celebration tomorrow or something.
What's it for?
Us? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No, they're setting up a stage in the green.
Mm,
Yeah, that's for us. Apparently we missed a circus too. Super
Missed
fun.
a
that's
circus?
disappointing.
I know!
Oh, that's. When did that happen?
Like 3 weeks ago. We were right here when the gnolls attacked and
Oh,
there
is
was
that
a
what
circus
all
in town.
those tents and
bother.
things were about?
There was tents? Ah. I missed
I
it
didn't know
all.
what it was. I just thought it was I don't know, group of something.
I mean, that's fair, but I missed all of it.
We can catch them next time.
I mean, they left here, which means they're somewhere else, so they don't run into them.
We should go and chase them.
Yeah, sure.
Chase down a circus.
Yes.
Oh, are they not far?
Well, they were here 3 weeks ago. They've got some
So
distance.
it's
on
not that far.
They'll have a head start.
I think let's not.
I think we can
How
find.
come? You don't want to go to the circus, Joril?
I think it would be. Listen. If there was one nearby, sure, but I'm finding a lot of things are different now that I have like 7 very small and rambunctious kits.
You can't go see the circus when you have so many things to do, right?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
I
I
mean-
thought the idea of the circus was to take the kids.
yeah.
Now that's inspired.
That's true. Maybe
Circuses
maybe
also have
they'd
a no
find it
weapons
fun. I
policy.
don't know.
Their teeth are pretty sharp.
Well, they're animals, aren't they? I mean, maybe the circus will be interested in them.
let's not.
Sell the gnolls to a circus.
No, let's
We're all
not.
just meat machines.
I'm
know
sure
what?
by
I
the
don't
time
think I
we're
wanna go to the circus.
by the time that we were visiting a circus, they'd probably be old enough to, you know, behave themselves.
I mean,
I don't know.
hope so.
Grim.
Fingers crossed.
I'm much better at convincing people that understand language. Right now, they're more like a bunch of little rambunctious pups,
Hmm.
which I don't know as much about how to deal with.
Yes.
But you know, I'm doing my best.
You had a dog once.
Well, it was more of a lizard, and you made me kill it, so I
Wow.
don't think that's quite the same.
That's interesting. I'm gonna go to bed because it's getting kind of late.
No, it wasn't so bad. It's better than some parents. Some parents will like make you kill a person.
And Arthrin goes to bed. I'll be
Oh.
upstairs, everybody.
Hey. Night, Arthrin.
And he's realizing that that's not normal up here.
Mother taught me to heal first.
Yeah, same. We don't.
I mean-
I don't know how to heal people,
Stab and kill.
okay?
The dead can be interesting, but the living are definitely better at conversations.
Well, some of them are.
But the polite ones are.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
So, the night starts to weigh in. Your body starts feeling worn down, tired. Does anyone else have anything else to do today specifically?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. Eirys is last. Ella?
Oh, Eirys can go first if she wants.
Eirys
might
is
take a while.
Eirys
okay.
is saving for when everyone else is gone. So
Okay. Has Yell gone to bed yet? Has he gone to his room yet?
I think
Not
Arthrin is the only one.
Okay.
Did you want me to go to my room?
Are you gonna send Yell to his room?
Go to your room.
Go to your room.
I knew she was angry on the
But
inside.
why?
Do we have like the same rooms
I'm-
forever here? Is it like a permanent arrangement because we're very cool?
You
I
did
mean-
say that there was a charge for the rooms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 6 silver pieces for one night. Arthrin's paid for himself.
Hmm.
Oh, six silver pieces.
Yeah, for one room. And you can fit 2 people in a room, if you like.
Oh, okay.
Could you fit in one, like more than 2 people in a room?
It wouldn't be very
Does
comfortable.
anyone
but-
have change for a gold?
I don't have to sleep on a bed.
I mean, if you pay with a
When you
gold
say-
piece, you get change at the bar, so you get 4
Yeah.
silver pieces to change.
When you say you can fit 2 people in, is it like a double bed that can sleep 2 people, or like there's 2 beds, or?
In
So I
essence,
assume
there's
the room's bigger than.
a single mattress under each bed that can be drawn out.
Oh, cool.
So one on the bed, one on the floor.
You don't have to get like super personal.
Nah.
You'd have to get all cozy now.
I'm just considering rooming with Arthur.
Well, we have to figure out where we're keeping the gnolls.
Yeah.
Not in my room.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
like
of
they stay down
possibly
here by
renting a
week.
stable and just sleeping in there with all my kids.
Could just sleep outside.
Well, I like having
It's
a
like
roof.
wall around the city.
It's hard to sleep when there's the sky above you, you know?
Yeah, true.
He's like, no, keep them here by the fire. They'll stay longer and quieter.
But
Yeah,
running
pull
a
up a
slate.
chair, Joro.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
room.
is that cool?
Say again, sorry?
Is it cool to just like have a puppy pile in front of the fireplace or something?
Trent's behind the bar. Well, they seem to have behaved themselves so
How long
far.
does the bartender stay awake? Does he ever go to sleep?
Trent looks around. Everyone else has
Okay.
either gone home or gone up to their room. He's like, Yes, well, I tend to stay until everyone's finished.
I think that's
I think we're going to be a while.
I will order our room.
Take your time. Yeah, thank you. Yes, 6 silver.
Me too.
Oh, great.
Me too.
Are you going to take a room for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, 6 silver pieces.
Unless anyone wants to bunk in with me, you're more than welcome.
I'll pay you if you let me sleep in front of this fireplace with a bunch of puppies.
Brüz was actually just about to say, can we pay the silvers and stay here by the fire?
Really?
Certainly. And he offers it.
Well,
all I need is the chair.
If you're sure, I'll stoke it. I'll stoke the fire again. I do need to go to bed soon, so I'll leave the poker out.
Fine,
You can.
as long as we keep a
Do you
couple
mean,
of
like-
extra
Oh,
pieces
sorry.
of wood to burn.
Sure, I'll bring some over.
I'll make sure you have a nice ember to catch for cooking in the morning.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you. He sorts that all out with you two, and yeah, brilliant.
There's a puppy pile.
Yep, and they're all super asleep. Super asleep.
So is Joril.
Yep. So Joril is just lying amidst the gnoll pups, Yell on his chair with the smallest one on top of his lap. Arthrin, Ella, I guess Yell. Everyone head up to bed, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's okay.
Yep. What?
I mean, I'm keen for you all to do whatever you like, so please do.
Ella's gonna go to her room, but clock what Yell is.
Yeah, easy enough to figure out.
Okay.
I'll just.
Gonna wait a few minutes, like kind of some 10 odd minutes or so, and she's gonna go to his door and still.
Yeah? Who is it?
It's me!
Oh, come on in. It's open.
Oh, okay. Cool. Wait, hang on. You haven't got Stanley roaming around, have you?
No, he's asleep.
Okay.
Ah.
He's asleep!
For those who don't know, Stanley is a goose.
Stanley is Yell's pet giant goose. You had to be there.
So, close your eyes, hold out your hands.
Okay. And I oblige.
Okay. Now, open your eyes when I say to open your eyes. And I put thing into his hands, and I back out the door, and sort of start to go down the corridor, and I get my little copper wire out and say, "You can open your eyes now. Happy birthday." You can respond to this message. It's Ella, by the way.
You were just here, and then I open my eyes to notice that Ella is gone. Just, what? And I look down at whatever's in my hands.
So, in your hand is a wooden heart, and carved into the heart says, "The greatest gift of life is friendship, and I have received it."
Nah.
And I have received it. And there's some ornate kind of carving work, leaves kind of wrapped around the edge of this heart. Almost like a bit of a crown sort of thing around the edges.
Roll for feels damage. My feels.
Crit.
I take 2d6 feels damage. Roll that damage. Yeah, Yell starts to tear up and start crying.
Oh.
He's speechless and doesn't respond to the message.
Oh.
Are you alive? Are you okay? You got very quiet with me. You can reply to this message. It's Ella, by the way. I'm coming back.
She just walked away
And
in
you
the
just
middle of
hear
it.
yourself like running footsteps. Like skidding in the doorway. You're like, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh no, you're correct. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry.
I just walk forward and give Ella the tightest bear hug ever.
Aw.
Swept off your feet, Ella, and
Thank
Can't
you.
breathe. Can't breathe.
Oh, sorry. Release a bit. Still in the hug. Just. Thank
And
you.
You're welcome. And she hugs him back.
That's beautiful.
Add to my inventory.
I take out the fields.
Most treasured item.
Yep. I would like to change my bardic. Whatchamacallit?
oh, your bardic
Currently
focus.
it's my sword.
Yeah,
You're McWilly.
Yeah.
Now it's a
A mag-
friendship heart.
yeah. Yao called his sword my magic willy. And now that's your bard spellcasting
Now-
focus.
Very important.
Now it's the
to
power of
clarify that.
friendship.
That's crazy. Amazing. Yes, do it.
No.
That's great.
So it takes however long it takes to attune to something to change your focus.
That's
That's
fine.
very fun.
Totally. You do that before you sleep.
Can I have typed out the inscription, please? Because I need to add it to the item.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just want to tattoo that on my actual body because that was beautiful.
Oh my god,
Speaking of
guys.
beautiful, Eirys is still downstairs, right?
Yeah, I don't want to go last now. I feel like we've peaked and I'm just not gonna hit that note. You know?
The
It's
camera,
fine.
camera
I made a
pans back to
great
Eris
mistake.
and she's.
Have I
she's-
noticed
she's
that
sitting there,
Eris is
unready-
just waiting?
unprepared.
Okay, so as I don't know. This is more up to the DM, but
Sure.
firstly, did I see which of those people at the table took the pouch?
Yeah. There's a number of dwarves. One of them appeared to be the ringleader. He was the one who Arthrin was addressing.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna be watching him like a hawk all night.
You-
And in case anybody noticed or cared,
Hmm.
generally I never drink apart from that one time where I had a swig from Yell.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've never actually drunk my drink. I've just had it in front of me.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm drinking. Not
Okay.
crazy, not getting sloshed, but I'm actually joining in. But I'm gonna watch that guy like a hawk, and the moment he leaves,
Mhm.
I would like to unsuspiciously step out after him, and immediately I'm gonna pull up my neck scarf so it covers over the bridge of my nose, under my eyes, and
Sure.
pull my hood up, and I'd like to stealth.
Make a stealth check.
I'm gonna use luck. Oh yeah, that was a natural 1, ended up a 16.
I'm gonna roll perception.
Yeah, you can certainly do that.
Let me see what I got. Where's my luck?
Ooh, hey.
Where is my luck?
18,
Oh, it's
19,
there. Okay,
21, 22, 30,
Uh,
22.
Okay.
Plus Del, so 26.
You don't see her go.
Ah.
You
I noticed she's gone, but I didn't
Yeah.
see where she went.
didn't see when she went or where she went. Eirys is like that.
Is the bar empty yet?
I mean, we're kind of doing things in a little bit of a mixed order here because this would have happened during the night before you guys went to bed. But yeah, Eirys, we'll resolve that first. Eirys, you follow this guy. He is completely none the wiser. You're keeping to the shadows. Your footfall is light. It's easy enough to follow him until he gets back to his home. Between a 5 and 10 minute walk away.
If do I manage to get to a point? Like, does he go down any alleyways or anywhere where he's going to be out of the public eye,
Yeah,
or is it literally...
yeah. I mean, he walks around the green, down a similar kind of direction that Brüz had gone in earlier, and that's where the roads become a little bit more narrow, and the buildings become closer together. The shadows are deep in those streets, and it's easy enough in the few minutes before he reaches his home to be alone with him, unaware as to your presence.
When I'm confident that nobody can see us, I'm gonna do what I like to call the Arthrin move, as we first met, and just sneak up behind him and just bring my knife to his throat gently.
You do so
have someone that
successfully.
doesn't belong to you.
What the fuck? Who the fuck are you?
The pouch. Give it to me.
What pouch?
The pouch that you got from under the stool.
I just... He kind of
What's
reaches...
worth more, this pouch or your life?
You don't need to roll. He reaches into his pocket of his kind of breech, his kind of waistcoat, pulls out a small pouch, hands it over. Please, please. I'm just a humble dwarf. Don't fucking kill me.
I don't doubt it, and I hope you have a great night. Also, you should really think about a buddy system on your way home. The streets can be dangerous. And I see.
Oh my god.
He as soon as you release him, he breaks into a run. And
I'm gonna stealth back into the tavern.
Yeah, sure, roll stealth.
Use luck again. That's better. I'm not doing good on my first stealth rolls. 28.
You're in the tavern, and Trent does not detect you opening the door and sweeping through. That is
Just
how gentle
before
you
I
are.
step in, I take down my scarf and hood and walk back in.
Okay. Welcome back.
Hey, Trent. Has Arthrin gone upstairs yet?
Yes, he's been there for a few minutes, as have the rest of your friends.
Great.
I'm downstairs.
Oh,
What
sorry,
room was Arthrin
Kyro,
in?
didn't see you there. Oh yes, and Brüz. I
Yeah,
include
they're
Brüz
like
and
by
Joril.
the
I mean, they decided to stay
Yes.
downstairs. It's peculiar. I yes.
They are very peculiar people. I
Oh.
can confirm that.
Yeah.
What room was Arthrin staying in?
Second on the right once you get to the top of the stairs.
Many thanks. I'm gonna head up in Eirys fashion to set myself into the room if I can.
Just open the door, walk inside. Arthrin is bare-chested. He has breeches on. He's just in the process of getting into bed. Whoa! Oh. You should knock? Is that a thing that you can do?
You know me by now, Arthrin. I closed the door. Would I have been able to like grab a couple of tankards on my way up?
Easy enough.
Cool. Okay. I hand him a tankard and I have one and I just sit on the bed to the end of the bed.
Is there any liquid in these tankards?
Hopefully.
He kind of looks inside and sniffs it. Where'd you get these?
From downstairs.
This has got barely any liquid in it. What the hell? Never mind. He kind of upends it and drains the remnants of the liquid inside. I appreciate the gesture.
I needed that 1,000 gold. And I understand it. I probably seem like I'm just being greedy or bitter.
I wanted to ask.
What do you need it for?
It's foolish. But though I know it's not likely, a part of me hoped that someday I wouldn't be running anymore. However, it would happen that I'd have a chance to be a normal person with a normal life. That's why when we first met, I envied you so much. You could just live a simple life in this town.
Eirys.
I needed that gold so I could pay for my own home somewhere. I always imagined it would be out in the wilderness somewhere, just far away from everyone and everything, and I could have a small holding, and maybe if I dared, I could have a family, and maybe farm crops, or bake, or I don't know. I don't enjoy... What?
He just wants to bake.
I'm sorry. I know that
Made me cry.
you're trying to be genuine. I'm sorry. I just can't picture you being a farmer. I'm sorry.
Actually-
I'm sorry.
For once, she actually blushes a little.
I've got to be honest with you, Eirys. It's so strange for you to say that you envied the life that I had. I feel like the last month of my life I've felt more alive than any other time. I really do.
I'll trade you.
Be careful what you wish for.
I'm the way I am because that's how I survive. And I don't like killing things, and I don't like always watching over my back, and I would love to just be normal and not be the way I am. I haven't had much of a choice until now. It was either be this way or be killed, but
Oh my god.
I'm like this because I have to be, not because I choose to be.
What's
And
changed?
Houses cost a lot of money. And for what it's worth, I'd be a fucking good farmer.
Oh my god.
Maybe you could teach me how to cut trees and all that cool shit you do.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just said that I did cool shit. You, Eirys, you flip off walls. You decapitate your enemies. You can go anywhere you want without being detected. You can get into any door. You can unlock any lock. There's so many things that you can do, Eirys. I know that it must feel like a curse, but you have so many wonderful and amazing abilities. When all of this is over, you can't settle down to farm.
I mean, one day I want to raise children, and I don't want them to be raised with me stabbing people and picking locks and...
I mean, people will always need protecting.
I can protect them. I can protect my family. I can teach them to protect themselves and hope that they never have to. But that is as much as I want my skills in place.
So,
Anyway,
what's the plan now then?
carry on trying to get enough gold to make it possible, in the hope that it's even possible. It's a fool's hope, but it's hope.
I think we'll do it. If we can get a contract like this that pays 280 gold as a bare minimum, we'll have enough in no time.
I know I'll get the gold in time, but I need to stay alive until then. And weirdly enough, traveling with these people is very rewarding financially. That's why I went along with them, but it's also very dangerous, and it's getting more dangerous and yet more financially rewarding by the day. And that 1,000 gold, I could have been so much further along if it wasn't for those stupid gnolls. And that was why I was frustrated.
You should tell Joril that.
No.
Why not? Who are these people that you're traveling with, if not your family?
I don't trust all of them.
They've saved your lives more times than either of us can count.
I've saved some of your lives, and you'd be foolish to trust me.
Call me a fool.
Oh god. I'm so glad I'm not there.
What? You're glad what?
Anyway, you should get some rest.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sleep well.
In the on the topic of money, I don't suppose I could save some and stay here.
Yeah, sure. I'll pull out the mattress.
No need. I'll be sleeping in that corner.
He narrows his eyes. and he moves for the mattress. He pulls it out. He says, "You can lie in that corner if you want, but this mattress is here, and it will be more comfortable if you choose to."
There's a chair in the other corner, isn't there?
Eirys, she goes and sits in her usual sort of position, like out of sight of the window, away from the door, and sits in the corner, and she stays there for a while. But as you can imagine, it's not very comfortable, and she always has trouble finding sleep. And when she's pretty certain that Arthrin is asleep, she goes to the mattress.
Okay.
On the mattress on the floor.
You guys,
silly person.
You guys take a long rest. Now, I was originally envisaging that you guys would end the session leaving town, but we can end it here if you like. It's a natural place. What would you guys like to do?
I think that would.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Sorry, Kyro, is there anything else you'd like to do? The floor is
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It can wait till next time.
All right. We'll leave it there then. Happy?
Happy.
Well played, everybody, and
Fabulous.
that was a great session. Streaming audience, Limdual, thank you so much for your continual encouragement. You are an absolute star. This is our first ever stream, and we're very appreciative that you stuck around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same for Snow Grubby Victressa. Oh, is Mia still here? Mia is a friend of Megan and Deanna's, and oh man,
Yeah.
it was so great to see
Hello.
that she stuck in for a few minutes.
Bye.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and you can expect us here every second Monday at the same time. It is this kind of thing. Occasionally we do combat. So, you know, but we just...
No,
awesome.
combat.
We are in love with these characters. We're in love with this campaign, and we're very, very glad to share it with you.
Yay.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else they want to say before I sign off?
My hands are sweating so much that my fingers have gone pruny.
I
That's all.
That's
have
great.
tons of things to say, but it's gonna wait.
Oh, write it
Confrontation
all
makes me
down.
nervous, and yet I have this
Sun's
character
come up,
who
it's
has
time
to.
for bed.
No.
All right. Take care, everybody. We love you very much. And is it Monday yet?
Good,
Dun, dun.
good night.
See you next time for Dead Deck.